All right, so we're recording now. So what I do then is just upload it. Now we're both on the same screen. It, so this is how I usually do it. I just thought that YouTube had that feature, and I haven't done it, and then I wouldn't have to upload it. It would already be on there. But
So what I have to do is I have to do everything through OBS, and then I can take a call like this here, run it through my computer, and then live stream that at the same time. It's a mess.
Okay. Yeah, that
Yeah.
makes sense.
So yeah, you got to run through so many different things just to make it work.
It's ridiculous. It should 2021. I should click a damn button and put 40 people in the call on YouTube if I want.
That's right, man. That's right. Well, anyway, now we got each other, man.
Yeah, so we're in now, man. We're finally here, man. Go ahead, I guess introduce yourself. I'll introduce myself, and we'll get started.
Sure. My name is Danny. I run a channel called Hauling Cash, and about to get this shindig rolling, man.
Awesome, man. I'm Aaron, the trucking guy. I run a channel called The Trucking Guy, and this guy here, Hauling Cash, is helping me out with my small amount of subscribers and people, and giving me the time of day. I appreciate it. So.
Of course, man. Of course. All right.
That's the lucky part about Skype is it gets glitchy sometimes.
That's okay. That's okay.
Yeah. But yeah, man, we're just basically here to talk to you guys today about trucking, kind of just chit chat, man. That's it. Give a little dialogue to it, make it a little interesting. Talk shit, see what's going on. Tell you guys how we got here, how you can be successful, and you can follow our recipe or go, float in the smithereens, do your own thing.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, make it your own, man. It's your own journey individually.
Absolutely, man. I love your channel. I love your content, dude. I know you called me a while back. We were talking, and we called a couple times. We were talking about that no bullshit approach of just saying it like it is, man. And that's what I love about you, man. You did one a while back. I think you pulled up late. You were in a Peterbilt or something, and you were just like, if you want to be here, you want to make money, this is what it takes, being first in line. And I was like, man, that is the hands down 100% what it takes, And I've got guys call me all the time, and dispatch fights it too. They won't get up. They sleep till 10. They're late to their delivery. And, when you're an owner op, you're allowed to do those things. But at the end of the day, man, it's not going to set you up for success, and you're not going to make the big money with the big dogs. You're just not.
Well, what people fail to realize, man, is like in trucking, it's unlike anything else, man. Trucking is single-handedly up to you. Like there's nobody telling you what your salary restrictions are. Like there's no like $20 an hour minimum or $15 an hour minimum or $10 an hour maximum. It's literally whatever you want it to be. The problem that guys get into is it's like, I'm comfortable enough. I'm cushy enough. I've got enough today. But like they don't realize like today you might have enough and tomorrow you'll be short. And the attitude of like, well, I'm going to do some things. I'm going to work so hard and then I'm going to give up on it. Like once I hit a certain threshold, I'm comfortable. I don't want to work much harder. And it's that complacency, that attitude of like, I'm good. And as soon as you feel like I'm good, Murphy's going to come along and go, nah. We got changes for you, man. We're going to fix that real quick.
Right. And I'm 100% the same way, man. You get out of it what you put in, man. And if you're willing to put the time in and get out and do the push-ups, it'll reward you. And if you're not, it'll reward you the other way. You know what I mean? So
that's right. That's right.
Every day something's looking to kick you in the nuts, man. It really is. I get guys calling me all the time, man. And that's why when I told you some of the topics I want to cover, those are some of the big questions I get, I get a lot of guys say, can I do this as a side hustle? Can I do this and that? I think their expectations of what hotshot in general or trucking is that it's just like something that we don't do full time or where we make so much money in a little bit of time. But at the end of the day, there is a lot of money to be made, but this is not a side hustle. This is not you can jump in and figure. I mean, I did figure it out. I didn't know shit about trucking. I came from construction. But I don't recommend anybody doing that, man. It almost took me out of the game. I was almost bankrupt, Yeah,
dude. I mean, it's one of those things you can make anything. Anything's possible, right? Anybody could go be an astronaut. You know what I mean? Like you could, but I wouldn't go be an astronaut after you were just in the lobby, sweeping floors, man. Like that's probably not the idea of a transition. And what they see on YouTube, and that's why I got away from the edited videos. That's why I got away from like all the scripted crap, because when people see that scripted lifestyle, they see exactly what I want to present to you in 15 minutes. Yeah. And what I'm presenting to you in 15 minutes is what I want to present to you. It's not the reality of every single day. And sometimes the lives, like, I go off the cuff when I'm on a live. I'm telling you exactly what I think of it that minute, that second, that emotion of that day. And I'm sitting here, you know, sometimes at the desk and I'm doing work, or sometimes I'm in a truck and I'm gone doing work. Like the entire month of June, I'll be out in a truck working, you know, and guys don't understand that when business calls, you must answer. It's not like, well, I may get around to it at 7 or 8 o'clock tonight when I think about it. No, you have to get around to it today. And a lot of guys, man, it's just like they see it on TV and they think, oh, it's $1 million lifestyle. Like, bro, you can make really good money. But an entrepreneur in general is not sitting there living day to day off the money they make and just being like, oh, yeah, I'm balling. It's great. They're reinvesting and reinvesting and reinvesting. And then when it's such a big cash cow that there's no possible way to screw up the trickling of money that comes in their pocket, okay, yeah, then they buy nice things with that. But initially, it's a grind every single day of putting away cash and then moving it forward. And then once you've reinvested enough that it's so sustainable that it's not going to fall down, okay, then you can take a little bit of the proceeds. But I mean, they don't realize that the income we make, yeah, man. I mean, Covered 6 might sit there and see 1.2 million this year. That's great. Like on paper, that looks amazing. And people are going to be like, oh, that's fantastic. That's cool, but that's not what we actually made. That's not what we actually took home.
And that's the way, and I mean, I 100% agree with you, man. I see a lot, and I don't know if you're real big active in the Instagram world, man, but there are so many, there's a whole world of hotshot trucking and just so much crap on Instagram that is unreal, because you have these guys going and doing car hauling or doing whatever they're doing, and they get that $5,000 check, and they're out renting Lamborghinis, running around like they're just money. It pisses me off. It's so stupid. And it entices people to these lifestyles that it's just not real, and it's not something that is going to be for the long haul, and it's not something that's realistic that you can actually. It's not attainable. That lifestyle that they're wanting to live, driving one truck, and they're driving for 3 days, 3 weeks, and then spending all their money. And granted, they're single, no kids, no house, whatever. You can make a lot of money doing that, sitting in the truck. But it's idiotic to go blow it on jewelry and Lamborghini rentals when you could be investing that into growing a future, growing something sustainable. And it blows my mind. If you go on Instagram, man, you'll see so much of it. It's unreal, man. They're parking nice cars by the trucks, talking about this is how I got it. They're doing all the stupid rapper stuff, putting big money phones to their ear. I'm like, yeah, you probably got to pay that out tomorrow in truck payments and freaking payroll,
I honestly, to me, money to me is, if you were that well off, right? Like, and this is just the reality. If you're that well off doing whatever you're doing, you wouldn't be doing it. Like, if you were grinding, if you were on top of the world, like, you're not going to sit there and waste your time standing next to a truck in a parking lot taking a video, or taking a photo. Like, nobody's going to waste their time doing that because they're making money elsewhere, right? Like, and the people there's a big difference between, like, a Mark Zuckerberg kind of guy who's a t-shirt, jeans, same outfit kind of guy worth billions, and the guy that's out there like with 100 million in his pocket, but looking like he's got 60 million, and it's like, you could have 100 million in your pocket, but you're not a billionaire. You're just 100 million. And the guy that's worth 2 billion is sitting there quietly with a t-shirt and jeans. Why is one worth 2 billion and why is one worth only 100 million? Well, the attitude
is exactly what it is the guy over here trying to flaunt like he's worth more than what he is, and trying to impress people that don't really care and don't really matter. At the end of the day, the only thing that matters is your personal opinion and your family's personal opinion, and your kids and stuff, and being successful and setting yourself up. But I just hate to see it, because I feel like hotshot has gotten to this thing now, especially on Instagram, is that it's about that. It's not really about building something sustainable, because those guys aren't going to be there. They haven't went through their new entry audit. They haven't it's not sustainable. That's not going to get to a 5-truck company where you can do $1 million a year revenue and pull $100,000 a year out of it and be happy and live a comfortable lifestyle and have something, get a nice house and build your credit and invest in your business or other things. It's stupid. You know, I just don't believe in it. You know,
I think it's funny when they say, like, when they're talking about, like, yeah, man, made 8 G's this week. You know, people are posting that they made so much good money. And I got away from the money videos because the money videos were drawing in. Like, if you look at the analytics on my money videos, insane. Like, the amount of people that were like, ooh, 10 grand, ooh, 8 grand. But the reality is, it's like, dude, like, you're talking about making $8,000 a week, and it's like gravy train money. And it's like, but dude, we're running a business right now where we might see $39,000, $40,000 a week in payroll. Like,
right.
it's just 1 week. You know what I mean? And so it's like, when you're doing $45,000, $50,000 a week in revenue, you don't have time to be sitting there worried about 7 grand, 6 grand, 8 grand. Like, the numbers just get larger. They just get bigger. It's not about like, I literally went from no trucks but myself in November to 7 trucks on the road by now. And
That's
it's like,
awesome.
and then we fired 3 guys. You know what I mean? I've had to fire 3 guys. I've had to rehire. I've had to constantly rework. I've had to do repairs to trucks when damages happen. It's like,
Yeah, that's the stuff that nobody talks about, man. Everybody gets in this. They think that it's cush every day and it's money, and you know, a lot of the guys are going to the strip clubs and doing this and that. And it's just like, man, what about the breakdown days? What about the days where, you know, you're stuck in a bad area? What about the days, you know, I had probably 3 trucks this week. Nobody's talking about this, but they're broke down with ECM issues or computer issues or whatever, and the parts, because of COVID, are on back order for 5 weeks. You can't even get them, man. And some of the stuff's proprietary that to these new 2021 trucks that you can't even get this stuff, man. I got a guy who's got a wiring harness out. There's not one anywhere in the country, dude. We can't even find them in salvage yards. You know what I mean?
Yeah, good luck. Good luck.
And the insurance doesn't stop ticking. The truck payments don't stop ticking. You can call your Ford rep or your Ram rep or whatever. They don't care. They're not going to help you nothing. They might move one of the payments to the back of the loan. What's that going to do for you? You're still down 2 months worth of revenue. You know, I bought a brand new truck. I told this story many times. And at 50,000 miles, the motor blew up. And yeah, it was a hotshot truck, and Ford was happy to put a motor in it. It took them 3 months. I was down, and you know the money we make, that's 60 grand easy. If you're doing 5K a week average, that's 60 grand you're down. Insurance don't stop. None of that stuff stops, you know, and then your house bills don't stop. What are you going to do in the meantime if you can't drive, you know? So,
that's exactly right, dude. That's exactly right.
They don't even talk about it. You know, what we had to go through, all of us, including the toe piglets of the world and everybody else, man. It's hard to be out here and do this stuff long term, man.
I just think there's a giant misrepresentation on YouTube when I'm clean, when I've taken my shower, when I've got my hat on, when I'm sitting in my truck and I've got the AC rolling and I'm on my off time and I'm on my weekend and I just got done eating breakfast and I've come in and just decided to do my live at 11 a.m. when I got around to it and I've got a monster and I'm nice and rested. Bro, you see me in an edited video on YouTube. You see a person at their peak performance when they want you to see them. You do not see them, like, they've never seen me on the side of the road with my roll of toilet paper looking for my tree because there's nothing around me. And I'm like, where's my tree at? Like, where am I going to make home?
Right. Or being out there after you just, you know, tarp for 3 hours and it rained the last hour of it and you're on a 10-foot tall load or something stupid and you're just completely drenched in sweat. Your white t-shirt is black and you've been crawling underneath the truck because the tire went flat and everything else, you know.
They don't see that, bro. They don't see that. And even what's sad is, even from the office side, because all my videos now are primarily from the office side, even giving them the office point of view, nobody wants to see that, right? Everybody wants to see the car wreck.
It's not sexy. I mean, they want to see the money. They want to see the flashy cars. They want to see music and TikToks and the, you know, where's the money? Where's the money? Where's the money? The money comes sometimes, but it doesn't come every single day. Some days you got to put it out and not get it back.
Well, I just feel like when they post Instagram videos when they're making good money, it's no different to me than falsely advertising some product, because when you're putting it out there and you're putting these pictures out there of this great load, this wonderful load or whatever, like, that's cool, man. But like, that's why I went to live videos, because you can't stop me in a live. And in a live video, YouTube's not paying me. And I did it on purpose. I was trying to show people like, look, dude, YouTube doesn't pay the bills for me. YouTube was chump change. YouTube was even when I was doing my growth on my edited videos, YouTube might have been $600 a month. Like it's, what is it equivalent to? Like 5,000 a year? Like, come on, dude, not even a week's worth of revenue.
I told a couple of these guys, man, because people ask me sometimes why don't I turn monetization off. I'm like, I'm not there yet, man. It ain't even worth I don't want to aggravate my audience with ads and stuff. But I've had a couple people, some big ones, I ain't gonna name any names, but they're just like, I'm making so much money from YouTube, and they're making big money doing it. But I'm like, you're missing the boat, man. You could have had a 100-truck trucking company or a real business, and not just this YouTube revenue. That's pennies compared to the money that you could be making if you already signed up 100 owner and had a big business and a yard and trailers and everything else. Man, you could be doing 20, 30, 40 million a year. You wouldn't give a shit about YouTube revenue.
That's right, dude. I mean, if YouTube's that successful, man, like if YouTube honestly means that much money, it's like, go ask any major trucking company when they're buying 2,000 or 3,000 trucks at a time, if they have a second to care about it. No, they hired some media guru. They hired some kid who's out there with a camera, and he's taking cool shots of drivers pulling in. And it's like, at the end of the day, bro, like, I want to grow quietly, quickly, swiftly. I've scared everybody. I've scared my bank. I've scared loan officers. I've scared my financiers, everything.
The same way, man. When I came on, my last insurance guy, he moved on, and I got another guy now who specializes in fleet. But I told him when I first got him, because my first insurance company was no, don't, can't do that, not this, don't grow 1 truck a year, bullshit. And I said, look, that's ridiculous. It's America. I want to grow a big truck. I want to be the next JV Hunt. Why can't I? Just because I can throw my flag on the wall, and if I, like that whole saying, just because you think you box, you can't jump in the ring. Well, I'm thinking I can box. I want to fight. Let's go, And they're like, no, you can't grow. You can't do this. And I'm like, so I hunted around until I finally found someone. And I was like, look, man, don't tell me no. I want you to say, yeah, man, I want to add 20 trucks. Let's do it. I want to do this. Let's do it. Don't you ever tell me no. Tell me the right ways to get to where I want to be and grow with me. And he did. And it changed my business completely. And then we ended up with a guy now who was I'm still in the same company, but it was his boss. He moved on for whatever reason. I don't know. Great guy. But this guy took over, and he actually, I was telling him, I'm like, look, man, this is where I want to be. I want to be at 40 trucks by the end of 2021. That's my goal, 40 trucks. And we're at like 22 with 10 signing on in the next 30 days. So we're going to be at I think we're going to exceed our goal. It's not going to be a problem this year. And so he sat down. He was like, dude, you want to do it? I'll tell you exactly how to do it. Give me the blueprint. He's like, not only that, he said, you're over here, right? He said, I'm going to put you on the phone with a guy right now who I took in 5 years from 1 truck to 120. And I was like, get the fuck out of here. Dude, hey, man, what's going on? So I went and researched the dude, looked him up because I didn't believe it. I looked up the company. Look, everything's public. And I actually ended up getting his personal cell number, and I'm able to go have lunch with him. I was like, hey, man, how the hell? I've been doing it 5 years. You've been doing it 5 years. You got 120. I got 20-something. What the hell? Where did I go wrong, And so that was huge, man. And I've got his cell number. I can call him. I'm going to try to get him on the channel. A lot of people just don't want to do the YouTube thing, but he's doing, with 120 trucks, he's got like almost 200 trailers, and they're all owner operators. And he has at least a 20-some, 30-some $million business, man, with real customers, not a lot of factoring, 70-cent discount, 80-cent discount fuel card. I mean, he's killing it. All flat.
Well, and what's amazing, the truth of it was when just what you said. A lot of people don't want to do the YouTube stuff. Why is that? Because they're too busy running an actual business.
Right.
They don't have time to make the videos and the vlogging. And what people don't understand is, like, when you're a 1-truck band, dude, I've never been more scared in my entire life when I was a 1-truck operator. It's terrifying. It's terrifying.
I have a consulting company now that people call me, and it's $49 to get on a phone with me for 2 hours, and I'll explain to them what not to do in the first 10 minutes. And everybody calls me, man, I got 3 trucks, and I don't have a driver for 1. I got 2 that are broke down. I'm like, well, where's your owner operator base? You know what I mean? And they're just like, what do you mean? And I'm like, the rule of thumb is 2 owner operators to 1 truck. That way, if those guys are rolling while your truck's down, you're still making money, And that's one of the first things that I teach them is, okay, now what insurance company do you have? How can we get you moving into the owner operator market? And they're like, oh, I want to buy 5 more trucks. I'm like, you can't afford to buy 5 more trucks. You're going to have 5 trucks go down and you don't have any owner operators, It just and leasing them and everything else. It's just that's a really tough gig. I know guys that only want to have company trucks and no owner operators. They're scared of the owner operators. I'm not. I'm 100% the opposite. I think that the owner operator has skin in the game. He's going to be more responsible. He obviously has credit and smarts to go get, buy a truck and put something on the line and do something. So if you bring value, a trailer or back end or company, or just handling the stuff he don't want to do, and then he brings value of his truck and his work ethic, you guys make something work and everybody's happy. And I think that's the best way to do it. I think honestly that's the way the market is shifting. That's why you have some of these bigger companies, the JB Hunts of the world, they're not doing so well because the company drivers all want to be owner operators now.
Well, and the owner operators, like in the hotshot market especially, because hotshot the financial leverage that's needed initially up front is really simple. I mean, you don't need commercial credit to get a truck. You don't need commercial credit to get a trailer. You don't need commercial credit to get your business in the door for a fuel card. You don't need those things. So you can go get down to any Ram dealer, go get you a truck. I mean, if I wanted to go get a Ram tomorrow, it's like there's no credit involved. Like, let's go, quick credit checks.
5,000 down and roll off with the truck. You know what I mean? And it's the same with the trailer. They all finance through Sheffield Financial. If you've got a 650 credit score and a couple grand down, prove income, you're out with the trailer rolling, making money a week later. You're not going to do it. You're not going to do that with that kind of stuff. They're going to say, what's your CEO experience? How long you been in the industry? All this stuff that goes into it that, so it is easy to get into hotshot, but it's also easy to fail if they don't know what they're doing,
That's where I've tried to make my bread and butter with the hotshot is I've tried to explain to people it is deceptively easy. It is so deceptively easy that it will lure you in. You're like, oh man, I got a truck in my driveway. Listen, that truck sitting in your driveway that's been pulling your farm equipment around or that you kept out there that was pulling around your work, your fifth wheel or whatever you were doing when you went camping, that's not the work vehicle. Like, if it's your truck for home, it's your truck for home. Don't take the truck from home and make it a work truck that now becomes a liable asset or it becomes a responsibility and insurable item. Don't do that. And they see it and they're like, oh, I used to load tractors. I could pull them. Like, no. Same, just totally different mindset.
What I've gotten into recently that I've kind of thought is becoming a epidemic in trucking, and I put on a lot of guys, man. Over the years, I probably went through 70 to 100 people, owner operators, drivers, the whole nine. And we got a really good group of guys now, but I've noticed, and I've been good to them, man. I don't like the brass, so I don't put a lot of the money stuff on there. I do put some on there, but I've had guys in the last few weeks do $12,000 with a hotshot or in revenue in a week, which is crazy, unheard of. I had a couple guys a month ago do 10, 12 back to back to back. They made a fortune that month. And granted, freight is up right now. The market is crazy through the roof, and it's like, get what you can get. But it's almost to the point now where they don't want to work for it. It's like, man, I've been here. I'll call them, and they'll say, I've been here all freaking day, man. I'm not waiting any longer and this and that. And I'll go back and look at the time. They've been there 2 hours or hour and 45 minutes. And I'm like, man, it ain't like you got there at 7 a.m. and you've been there, it's 2 o'clock. You've been there literally 2 hours. You just load the shit up and go. And they just don't want to work for it. It's like, put it on my truck quick so I can get it delivered quick and make 10 grand. I don't know where this culture is coming from, but you got to work for it, man. And it's not always going to be here. I feel like the bottom's going to fall out of it. A lot of these guys are going to get out and get their ass kicked because they're going to, I can't make it on $2 a mile,
I don't believe nobody till after 90 days. I mean, after 90 days, the first 90 days, anybody's going to work, right? You're going to see their representative, and you see the employee representative of that person, right? That is the big guy. That is the guy that's coming in with the bolster attitude and I'm going to work. The first quarter, you go by, check them out on the first week of the second quarter. Because the first week of the second quarter, that's where you start to find out, is he actually made of salt or is this guy made of crap? Right. And is he actually going to be the guy that's going to work? And then the other thing is when they get comfortable, again, complacency. Dude, I have been paying myself in contract money overseas and in working for myself, working for somebody else, the same. I've been paying myself the same salary, never changed. $1,000 a week, never changed. And it doesn't matter to me if the business does 50,000 tomorrow or 1 million tomorrow or 10 million tomorrow, $1,000 a week. And the reason for that is I can reinvest all of the rest of it. And $1,000 a week covers my ends. Now, are other people like me? Maybe. Some people have higher taste or have higher needs. Fine, do whatever. But for me, I'm cool. I'm chilling. I've got it worked out. And by reinvesting and turning it over, yeah, dude. I mean, when people are looking at it, they're like, dude, you guys are doing so well. You guys are growing. Yeah, we are. What's the secret? Financial sensibility, dude. Like, be okay with delayed gratification and quit throwing and flaunting your crap all over the place. Because when I see somebody showing all their money, to me, the first thing I see when someone's showing all their money and all their paper and all their stuff all over Instagram is, where do you live and can I just go rob you and take your stuff? Like, if you're posting that stuff all over the place, there's somebody out there looking to take advantage of your situation. And I don't see the need in that. For me, that's a little bit too over the top with the personal spending, in my opinion. But
yeah, with the
these guys
stuff, on the company side, I like to show some of what really goes on, and I don't know what happened there.
There you go.
Still there?
Yeah, I got you.
Okay. Anyway, I like to see what's really going on behind the scenes and let people know, what it takes financially to really do this. That's one of my biggest things with my consultants, right? Is my clients call me and they just don't know their numbers. And I'm always like, man, the Grant Cardone state of mind is just, did you do the math? If you didn't do the math, you don't know shit. And I've got a lot of little memes out, you can't manage what you don't measure, all that kind of stuff. And I see it time and time again. It's always the same thing, man. They have no business acumen. And I'm not knocking it because I love everybody who steps out on the foot to want to be an entrepreneur, and I'm backing you 100%. But you got to get educated. And I'll have people say, "I'm not paying $49 for a call." Piss off. And then I see people do it, and I'm just like, man, $49 change your life. I just gave you 5 years a game in 2 hours, and that's gonna. And they're just like, their mind is exploded. They're writing stuff down there, and they're just like, man, I got to do this call again. I can't even get it all. But they don't know their numbers. I'm like, what's your payment costing you? How did you leverage it? How did you finance it? What kind of revenue are you doing? What areas are you going? What are you paying for fuel? What are you paying your driver? If you're not hitting these numbers, why am I hitting them and you're not? They're like, oh man, we're only doing 3,500 a week. I'm like, in this market, I could throw a truck out there with my nephew, blind, dumb in one eye, and be like, hey, go get $5,000. What's going wrong here? So, they just don't know their numbers. And if you don't set a target, you aim to hit nothing, and if you don't know what you don't know, that's why I put the videos out there, what it takes to really do it, how much it really costs, what you should be paying for a truck, how you should have leveraged it. If you had bad credit, I'm not knocking it. You got to pay $1,500 a month for the truck. You got to do what you got to do. Make the money, fix your credit, refinance the truck, trade it in, or whatever you got to do to get another one, something different.
Well, and I mean, even the bad credit stuff, right? Like, even when somebody comes in with bad credit, I'm like, look, how long did you know you wanted to be a business owner? 2 minutes? Like, Did you do no prep work? You did nothing to get to this level? You just said, oh, the hell with it, I'm going to start today. No, bro, a part of you getting into a business is growing your credit. How are you going to have any leverage if you did nothing to take advantage of it? And it's like, I couldn't do a consult phone call with somebody because you would pay me $50 to hear me ruin your life. It would not be, I would be the worst person to talk to, because at the end of the day, man, it's like, I don't want to tell you you're wrong, but I've gotten on the phone when I talk to guys for free, and the guy's like, oh, I think I'm going to get in this business. And I tell him, that's a terrible idea. Based on what you've just told me, that's garbage. That's horrible. It doesn't take me 2 hours to tell you it sucks. What do you need to live on? What do you plan to make? What do you realistically want to have as a home budget? And I can tell you, just based on your financials personally, no, it's never going to work. If you need $9,000 a month to live on, you're in the wrong market. I'm sorry, but you've done something wrong.
And that that's what I tell them, man. What are your home bills? I've had a couple drivers throughout the years. One of the guys has been with me a long time, and I love him to death, a good friend of mine now. And he's always calling, man, I ain't making any money. He used to. Now we're crushing it. But he used to call me all the time, man, I ain't making no money. I ain't making no money. I ain't making no money. And I'd look down and say, hey, man, let me help you. Let's figure out what the problem is, okay? And I sit down and I go over the numbers, and I'm like, dude, you're making stupid money. You're making $3,000 a week, profit after everything. What the hell? How are you not making any money? Even after my percentage, everything, right? And I said, let's really evaluate this. And he's like, oh, well, how much is your rent or whatever? How much is your this and that? And he's like, well, then I got this and I got this, and I'm helping my kids pay their phone bill, and I'm helping this and I'm helping that. I'm like, the problem is, yeah, they're in college and you want to do the right thing, but it's breaking you, man. You can't. They got to get their own damn job and pay their own phone bill, or they got to pay their own car payment. You're paying 3 people's car payments and rents and mortgages and everything else. Nobody can survive with that. Of course, you're mad you ain't making no money.
The truth of it is nobody looks in the mirror. Nobody. No. It's like, dude, just before you even go and question everything around you, question yourself. Did I screw this up? Have I mismanaged my own funds? What was my target goal for a budget? And then did I overspend? If I did, well, then there's no reason to go yell about what I'm not making. Now, if I'm doing everything I needed to, like when I leased onto that first company I was with in Hotshot, I was hitting every number seamlessly, everything. And I was like, dude, I've literally hit every number. We should be at this profitability. I've done the market. I've just researched and I've seen how we're supposed to be hitting. Well, we were hitting 3,200, 3,300. And it was when I talked to the owner of the company that thought that was standard. The market was bearing 3,300. The market was actually bearing closer to 6,500, 6,800. And I'm like, look, man, I'm getting 65 on my, and I just told him I wanted to dispatch myself, and I would go through credit checks and all that. Just let me show him. And I think it was a true testament, because when I quit that business, their business went out of business. But then he called me 2 months later, off camera, offline, everything, and was like, hey, do you want to partner in a business with me again? I think you know this market better than I understood it. And it's like, no. You were in business for 15 years. You didn't obtain a direct customer one time. You didn't obtain any kind of direct freight. And on top of it, you misjudged the market by over $3,000 every week, which is $12,000 a month. You're screwed. Like, if you misjudged it that badly, I don't want to partner with you, dude. Like, you went out of business in 15 years. Who's to say you won't go out of business in another 15 years with me on your back? I'm done.
Right.
Like, so, I mean, but I think there's a big misunderstanding with people's level of what good money is insane to me. Like, it's not about what you make. You can make $200,000 a year, and I guarantee you, I keep more at my little salary.
All the time, it's not what you make, it's what you keep, man. That's all that matters. At the end of the day, it's all that matters. I've got a few guys, man, they're unhappy if they make less than $10,000 revenue in a week. I'm like, you guys are in like the circus market right now. And I have really good customers, and we do a lot of oversized and wide loads. The market's not, what are you going to do in 2 years when the bottom falls out of it and it's back to $1.80, $2, $2.50 a mile again? You got to be able to sustain at that when you're making $5,000 a week and not $10,000 a week, And I said, because it could happen, I mean, right after I come in right after, the times when market was crazy, it was repairing itself after 2008, and it was nuts. And then it just kind of trickled out, and it just kind of got to where it was $2 a mile again. You know what I mean? $1.80 a mile. Hell, we used to do some loads for $1.60, and we were profitable at that, And it took, and then after the COVID thing, thank God, I know it took a lot of people out of business. Thank God we're still here. It didn't, because we killed it. I mean, we never even saw a decrease. We ended up, because everybody was flooding out this way. We ran them over and took all their freight and made money, I guess, because we made more money during COVID than anybody that I even know. A lot of guys are like, oh, I can't make any money. I'm going broke. I'm like, I don't know what's going on, man, because we're killing it, I mean, we did have to position quickly. I pivoted on my dry van business because the bottom fell out of dry van. It went to $1 a mile. It went nuts. And I just called all my guys up. I had 3 owner operators, one company. Guys said, look, man, you guys ought to get out of it, or find somebody that has better contracts than me or something, because I'm spot market on the dry van stuff. I don't have any customers yet. Either get a different trailer, because I can roll with you on the 53 steps and stuff, or something else, because I refuse to run $1 a mile. I'm not going to do it. I refuse to run anything under really $1.50, $1.60 a mile, because even at that,
I refuse to get into the contracts, man, to be honest with you, because it's not that the contracts aren't there. The contracts are there, but at the bottom line, right, those guys that are locked into contracts right now are hating their life. If you locked into a contract at the end or middle of 2020 for $2 a mile, you screwed up, because I'm over here killing $3 a mile on a container, and I'm looking at container loads, and I'm like, a container's paying $3? Dude, we're killing it. And then they're looking at it going like, oh, well, I've got the consistent freight. You do, but you've also got consistent profitability and consistency as far as that maintenance and wear and tear did not stop. And
there's a lot of guys love to run on the spot market right now that are stuck in big contracts. You know, they're like, man, guys are getting $4, $5, $6, $7 a mile. You know, we got some wide load stuff right now that's paying stupid money, man. I mean, it's like, I never thought I would see rates like that. You know, I never thought it was possible, but we just,
and I'm not even large enough. I'm not even large enough, man, to step away truly from factoring like I need to. I'd love to, but at the same point, like, until I get to that point where I've got, you know, and what I tell guys when they're talking to me about, because I've got some guys that swear to me they don't want to factor, and it's like, okay, well, that's cool, but like,
I don't get it, man. I factor, I don't get it. I've had people. I had a guy on another show a long time ago tell me I was an idiot for factoring. I was a effing dumbass and this and that. And I'm like, dude, I'm giving them like $50 to give me, you know, $3,000 or whatever. I give a shit less. Let them make their money, you know, for what. And now, I mean, I get a really good rate because we do millions. But you know, I used to pay 5%, and I didn't cry about it at all. I was like, hey, give me my money. Give me my money quick, you know. And
well, I mean, and what are you going to do when you're factoring, right? Let's say they had a 40-day or a 45-day average pay rate, right? So you got a month and a half. In a month and a half, if you're asking me to hold freight or hold revenue over for a month and a half, you're telling me that I'm going to have at least $200,000 sitting around for revenue, just for payroll,
Who the hell wants to do that? Nobody. And what are you saving? You're going to save, okay, on that amount of money, what are you going to save? $12,000 a year, you know, $14,000 a year. Why? Get them their $14,000. The thing is, they don't understand the way it works. You can go to a bank and get a line of credit revolving and pay 2-3%. Factoring companies already specialize in it. Plus, you get the credit check portal. Plus, you get a little bit of you know, depending on who you're with, you might get some benefits. I don't see a lot of benefits where I'm at, but I like where I'm at. And I'm stuck. I mean, I'm with Tabs, and it's a tough ass. You're never getting out of that contract once you sign it. You're dead to rights, done. Yeah. So I don't really have a choice, but I do negotiate with them. I have every year, and just, you know, like, I'll fucking close my company. I'll come there and shoot every one of you bastards. And then we ended up. They say, we'll give you a peanut here. Go away, you know. But yeah, I've dwindled it down now. We've been with them long enough that I do pretty good. I'm happy where I'm at, and I'm not mad at all what we're paying. It's peanuts, and I pay it on the owner operators, and it's like, man, who would want to do that? It's different for companies that have $1 billion in the bank, the Goldman Sachs of the world, the like you know, Trans Am or any RTS, whoever you're with, all these companies, they got millions in the bank that they don't even have nothing to do with. So it's like growing white hair in the back closet, and they're like, let's just put it out and we'll make, you know, $10,000 on it. So they're putting out millions to make peanuts, but the money was sitting there anyway. With us, it's not. We can't afford it. We don't have $200,000. Who would want to put out $200,000 revolving to save $14,000? I'd rather have my money tomorrow, you know?
Well, and the idea is, right, like the way I do my owner operators, for example, my owner operators are out of pocket zilch, dude. I mean, like, other than fuel and tolls, they have nothing coming out of their pay. Other than my percentage, fuel and tolls, there's nothing. And I do things differently. When everybody was talking about this driver shortage, and it is a driver shortage, I turned around and put in more imposing restrictions on insurance. We went to hair follicles in the middle of driver shortage. We went to hair follicle drug testing. People were like, well, but you're going to have a hard time getting them. Sure. But I've got quality, dude, quality people. Like, I've got people with serious experience, and I don't have to sit there and wonder, like, do they know how to chain something down? Do they know how to strap something down? When I pay somebody, I pay them well, and I'm not worried about it. The last thing in the world I'm worried about is who I'm factored with, and, do I have to pay them? You know, because I mean, we're a good rate. I mean, we're very well on our percentage, but it's like, dude, it also came with really solid negotiating and a really solid expectation of what we expected from them, what we were going to bring to the table with them. And then we didn't do any kickbacks. Dude, I've been promoting my people for a long time with no kickbacks. And everybody that watches my channel, it's like, dude, go look at anybody. You can look in my videos and look at all the comments. I don't get jack diddly from nobody. And I do it on purpose. When I tell them I'm going to work with you or I'll mention you, it's deliberate because I reserve the right to say you suck. If you do something I don't like, I get to tell you suck, and I will tell the world you suck. And then I don't want to have any qualms about it. But these guys are getting into this with the idea that, like, I've seen guys that were negotiating. They were talking the other day, owner operators were talking about what they should get paid on their percentages. And I saw some guys that were like, man, if they're charging you over 10%, you're insane. And if they're charging,
like, who the hell would want to do it for 10%? It's too much of a liability. I did that for a little while, and I finally told the guy, and I'm not going to sit here and say I don't have any guys on at 10%. I've got guys that have been with me 4 years that I don't even have to worry about. They just the autopilot, you know what I mean? And I do that as a favor. I'm not, because I've made enough money over the long haul of years that they're friends to me now, and it's a favor. It's not like because I'm making nothing on them, man. You know, $100 a week or something. And if anything goes sideways, I got to pay something out of pocket. I lost it, $500. Now I'm in the hole, you know. But I do it as a favor on those percentage because they've been with me and they just keep calling me, hey man, can you help me out? You know, I want to get this negotiated. But now I'm at the bottom. Like, man, I can't do it any lower than that. 10% is the bottom. But I would never do it for anybody just walking off the street or anybody coming on because there's no money to be made. No, nothing. And you want value. You want me to help you if something goes wrong, or say, God forbid, you have a flat tire and you're running row and you don't have any money and you need me to help you out. I can't do it on 10%. You know what I mean? Because I didn't make anything off of you. Or anything happens, you know, a claim or whatever, I got to go there and fight and argue and be on the phone and be the middleman between you and the broker and the dispatcher and whoever's mad, be the governing body. I can't do that for 10%. There's nothing there. You took it all the way to the bone. And it's too much of a liability. Why would I put somebody out there that could potentially get me locked up in prison or in court to where I got to fight for my freedom for 10%? There's nothing there, you know?
Well, and at the end of the day, man, I just don't want to. Like, there's days where I've thought about it, and I've had moments where I'm like, you know what, burn it all to the ground. Like, I will happily get rid of everybody, go buy a really sweet rig, go run my own rig, stop the YouTube stuff, turn it off, and just go drive for myself and be totally, copacetic for that. There's days where I've thought like that. There's also days where I've looked at guys that I wanted to hire, and I'm like, ooh, I would hire them. And then I look at their MVR or I look at their PSP, and I'm like, nah, like, I'm not going to. And with the percentages that guys get charged, it's like, if you do somebody right, it's nothing. It's nothing. Just like factoring to me is nothing. Factoring to them is nothing. You know, their percentage to lease on is nothing, especially if they're in good hands. What problem happens is where these guys get the judgment is like, I find it laughable, and it may be the wrong mentality to have, but I find it laughable when someone is telling somebody else 10% is way too much, or 15% is way too much, 20% is way too much. But then that same person doesn't have their own authority, doesn't take the steps of their own responsibilities, doesn't take the liability. Like, nah, I don't want to hear it.
I have people too that you know, one of my mentors, in fact, that really set me on the right track. He preaches all the time: open your own authority, open your own authority, open your own authority. Some people just don't want to. You know what I mean? They just, or they're not capable. You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing wrong with riding your lane. There's people that build skyscrapers, and there's people that build back decks. There's nothing wrong with doing either one of them. You know what I mean? Being a carpenter like this and coming from maybe a smaller local town that's 5,000 population in the middle of nowhere in Alabama or something, and not having the aspirations to want to build skyscrapers. But you can still go to the work for the guy that builds skyscrapers because you build a damn nice deck. You know what I mean? And there's nothing wrong with it. So I get tired of that. You know, what are you, fucking lazy? Start your own authority. Maybe he doesn't want to deal with DOT. Maybe he doesn't want to do audits. Maybe he doesn't want to pull PSPs and pull drug screens on drivers and himself and have the liability. And maybe he doesn't want to handle IFTA. Maybe he's just not smart enough. I'm not knocking it, because there's guys that I have that are smart enough, and I've asked them, hey, you want to dispatch yourself? Hell no. Hey, you want to, do that? Nope. Hey, I'll help you set up your own company? Nope. I have no interest in it. I'm going to stay right where I'm at. I'm getting paid great. I make good money. I bring home $3-4 grand a week profit. I don't give a shit about none of that. You handle it. It's your problem. Because, what happens when that broker calls? What the fuck are you late? Blah, blah, blah. This and that. You're an idiot. And, click. Or I'm going to sue you because you damaged my load or whatever the problem is, right? They don't want to deal with any of that. None of it. They don't even want the risk. Some people don't want a goldfish. Some people want a koi pond. You know what I mean? There's nothing wrong with anything in the middle. I fill a void. I bring value to those people, and I think there's a lot of them. So I really do get tired of that. I'm like, man, you're over here just saying, everybody should do this and screw everybody else. Well, that's not the way the world works.
My thing is my thing is you can't, if you're going to complain about the operation I'm running, then by all means, step in here, come sit down in my chair. You run the operation. You take the risk, put your name on it, put your stamp on it. You approve it. And then if you're going to take that risk, then take it. Otherwise, if you're not going to take the risk, it's fine. I'm not saying you have to, but don't be chirping in the corner talking about how all these guys should be doing something, because in reality, right, there's a lot of companies that I've put light on without directly naming, deliberately, because the way they've set things up is to the disadvantage of its entire staff. If you look at the way they've written their contracts, if you look at the way they've written their agreements, if you look even what their standards are and what their pay rates are, it's like, man, they're in business to keep you barely fed, barely alive. And if you sign up with them, guys, and I've seen these guys that work for these people on social media, and guys are like, hey, man, how many guys are over at Blasey company? And there's people like, yo, I'm over here and we're staying constantly making money. And when they tell me like, oh, we're constantly making money over here, and they're at that company that I just called out, and I'm like, look, dude, like, these people think they're making money even when they're getting screwed. Even when they're getting screwed over, they think they're making the most money in the world. And it's like, have they even seen, I've got a buddy that works for me right now, and I talk about him all the time. He was with Prime. Didn't even know. Had not even, because he was in blinders. I mean, he had the blinders on from the company. They kept him looking right. They kept him looking left. I mean, anywhere he looked, he was just like straight ahead. All he saw was the tunnel that they painted for him. And then when I brought him over, after years of negotiating with him and just telling him, like, finally, like, I just got pissed. I'm like, look, you're either coming or you ain't. And he was like, no, I'm coming. And when he got over here, he's like, can I look this way? I'm like, yeah. Like, oh, can I look that way? Yeah. And they're like, holy shit.
Yeah.
It's like,
that's why I'm so transparent about everything that we haul, everything that we do, everything that we pay. And I'm big on communication, but I pay after every load. Some companies don't do that. I know a lot of companies with the owner operators. A lot of companies would never want to do that. And the reason I do it, and everybody's like, I would never hire a guy that needs money that bad. And it's not necessarily that they need it, because a lot of the guys I hire, they're like, man, just pay me once a week. I don't care about that, But I give it to them because they need cash flow. You need money in the bank. And you can sit here, like we were talking about the factoring, why wait 45 days anyway? Then all you're doing is creating a cycle of always waiting on money. Oh, I go work, I'll get my money later. Oh, I go work, I'm going to wait on my money. Oh, who the hell wants to do that? It's not collected till it's in the bank. I like to do my job. Oh, there's my cash right there. Thank you. See you later. That's the way I like to do business. And I like to pay my guys after every load. So they're never waiting on, I have them call me all the time. Man, I'm working for this guy. He broke down in Colorado. He owes me 10 grand. Can you help me out? And I'm like, why would you go to the middle of nowhere, Idaho or Montana, for $1.80 a mile? And why are you working for a guy and he's only like, well, last week he gave me, $5, and he said give me the rest later. And this, I'm like, I wouldn't haul one more load for him. Give me my money or fuck off. You know what I mean? That'd be it. You're in business for yourself. You're still somewhat responsible for your own destiny over here being an owner operator, And that's why I like, hey, man, you don't have that problem. I pay you after every load. You're never waiting on 3, 4, 5, 10, 2 weeks worth of loads. That's crazy. You can't run a business that way.
No, see, we pay every week, but the reason we pay every week is primarily for us. For me, it's time management, right? So for me, it's like, I don't have the time to be constantly doing your payroll. And
crazy. And I fucking hate it, but it's just
and then God forbid I have to do a revised rate con because you had detention or layover or a tono or, oh good Lord. So even that. So we do it every week, but the thing we do is we say, okay, like for example, this week we have a driver, he got paid for a load that he didn't technically deliver till Monday of this week. Well, he's going to get paid on it. He shouldn't get paid on it till next week, but it just happened to be that we caught him into it. We rolled it in because the dates were a date range and he got pulled into it. So it got put on his check. No one is worried about it. It all comes out in the wash. At the end of the day, it's all coming out. So we're just looking at it and say, okay, well, it is what it is. But I don't get to the point where if I got to worry about somebody's integrity, if I got to worry about somebody's honesty with me, if I got to worry about, if they have to worry about mine, if you have to worry about my honesty and my integrity, if you have to worry about if the money's in the bank to pay your payroll,
you shouldn't be working for me.
There's no, I shouldn't be in business.
That's the way I ran my construction company. That's the way I ran my tree service. That's the way I run my car dealership. That's the way I run everything. If I can't do business on a handshake and do exactly what I say and over deliver, you know, like I pride myself on that because I can't stand liars. I can't stand people who beat around the bush. I'm very, you know, forward. That's why a lot of people I think like my videos. Some people don't. They're like, man, you're just obnoxious. You come off like an asshole. I'm like, hey man, you know, it's not for everybody, but it's for some people. I like to be treated that way. I like to not beat around the bush. I like to not, you know, not tell things how they are because I just want to get directly to the point. I don't get my feelings hurt easy. I'm like, if you say, hey, this is fucking stupid, well, let's look at it. Okay, yeah, you're right. Probably was stupid, you know, or whatever. But at the end of the day, I'm like, hey, man, you're never, if you're going to check and say, hey, man, you paid me too much. You're never going to get in a situation where I didn't pay you or I owe you money. I don't like that. I don't think you should work for anybody like that. And I think these guys work hard for their money because I was out there. I know what the hell you're doing. And you need your money. You know what I mean? Nobody wants to wait until Monday. And sometimes, you know, I'm not going to say they don't have to. Shit happens. But I try to get them paid, man. I even got some guys, you know, they'll turn in stuff on Friday. But, hey, man, can I get this on Friday? But I get it, man. You want to go out with your wife. You want to go out and do shit. You just put out all your money. You don't want to wait till Monday. Nobody wants to go to dinner on Monday. They want to go out to dinner on Friday night. They want to, you know, go do whatever they want to do or go on vacation or whatever the hell it is. Take their kids out and it's the birthday weekend. I do it. Hey, as long as you catch the wife when she's at the bank or if she can do the wires from, you know, computer and you catch her before noon or 1 o'clock, yeah, go ahead. Send it to him. You know what I mean? And we'll deal with it later. So I try to get them paid and overpay them and pay them like clockwork. And I think if you can do that, you can build a culture in your company that's a team mentality. You know, I hear a lot of guys on there and they're like, fuck this guy. He worked for me. I'm the boss and this and that. I don't never tell my guys that. I tell them, hey, man, you're on my team. You join my team. I want to do whatever it takes to make you successful. Because if you're happy and you're successful, I'm happy we're successful, you know? And I think it's worked for me. I mean, we've been doing it now this long and it just keeps working, man. And we're blowing up and it seems like it's working great for you too.
Well, I mean, the biggest presentation I work with people and the way I think about everything we do with the business is I'm never going to lead you from the rear. Like I'm never going to guide the ship from the rear. If I'm gonna make a bad decision, I'm gonna own it 100%. If I misdirect the direction of my company and it has any ripple effect to somebody behind me, then I'm gonna make sure that I take the ownership of it up front. And so by having that level of direction, like say, okay, hey man, we went left here, we didn't hit the numbers we wanted to hit this month. That's my bad. We're gonna go this way, and it's going to work. And then not only that, but if you're going to sit there and have a conversation, you need to have a conversation with guys at their level. And that's where guys don't understand it. Like these big companies that I'm competing with, I have so much confidence that we're going to destroy some of these companies. Like my goal is 3,000. My goal is 3,000 trucks right now, and it's like I want 3,000 trucks like yesterday. But the idea of 3,000 trucks is like when I'm going against somebody else that's a real competitor. I'm not, dude. You have ballistic glass between you and them, and you even they even refer to it as you or us and them, the drivers and management. And it's like when you have ballistic glass between that, you're so far gone you don't even know it. Like I'm coming around the corner, and I will happily come out here with job offerings for every one of those people that wanted to shoot you because you couldn't manage it properly. And I will happily pick up the pieces and say, look, man, come over here where it's actually chill. Like I've had drivers in my house. I don't worry about it. You can be in my house hanging with me. I'm not worried about them having a problem to that extent where you wouldn't be working for me if I felt like I couldn't get the vibe going and couldn't make the thing work, you know?
That's what I think, man, is just, you know, and I follow Grant Cardone a lot. He's big on culture within any business. You have to build a culture in your company that's a team mentality or that everybody's out for one common goal of everybody getting successful. And speaking money is the language or speaking, you know, whatever their language is, you know, more time off, more family time, whatever. But everybody's different. Everybody's clock ticks to a different beat, man. And it's like, that's what I tell guys, you know. Another thing is like dispatchers. I think you even put a video out a while back, and everybody differs with me on this. I use a couple different dispatching companies. I used to dispatch my ass off. I did it until my eyes are bad now from load boards. You know what I mean? And so, guys, a couple of my mentors, they're just like, why the hell you use a dispatching company? Why this? Why that? The guys that I have, man, that I partner with, I could not bring them in and afford to keep them in my office because they're killers, man. They're straight killers. And it's not that I couldn't tomorrow depict where I want to go with my business. I think maybe you said, I might be wrong, but maybe you did this, a couple other people did, but they were just like, you're building a brand and you want to be in control of your business and you're letting them have control of it. And you don't even know what's going on or what they're doing. And it's be like investing in the stock market. You put in a mutual fund, they're putting it in tobacco and war stocks. You don't want that. You don't even believe in it. But that's not the case with the way I dispatch, right? So I brought them on. I told them what I wanted. I wrote out very strict guidelines. And I said, do not deviate from these guidelines one bit, period. If do not cancel a load to get a better load. Do not do this, do this. If you give word on MoneyPay or on my name, you're speaking as if I'm speaking, and I want it step 10 toes down, period. And they've done a great job. And I know some dispatch companies probably don't do that. They do things willy-nilly, and maybe you can't get an agreement with them to do things the way you'd want it done. But I could lose any one of these guys tomorrow and go get another one, and it wouldn't matter to me. It wouldn't. And I like to operate that way because I have diversity. But again, like I said, if I hired just whoever, you know what I mean, Tom, Dick, and Sally to come into my office every day, clock in 8 to 5, my guys are booking loads at 10 o'clock at night, 1 o'clock in the morning. These guys are like freaks, man, of nature. They're booking 50 trucks, and they're really good at what they do. And I've become one of their biggest clients, and they have other clients as well, but they've been able to use me to harness kind of like a force. So if I left, it'd be like a vacuum. They probably maybe go out of business. But I also have been able to diversify with a few different ones and make it work where, hey, they do exactly what I say. They book, and they're part of my team now. They're not just this person dispatching my company like I'm lazy, I don't do anything. I'm on the phone with these guys every day, making sure we're all on the same page and we're doing things we need to be doing. And they know exactly what I want. Because we had a couple times in the beginning, they went this way. No. It don't work that way. You're going to do it this way. Like I said in the beginning, if you do it again, you're out of here. You know what I mean? So they realize, and I'm a big client, I pay a lot of money to these guys, man. And they're like, oh, you're paying up so much percentage. You could be saving a fortune. I don't think you could get the quality of dispatcher that I have working 8 to 5, clock in and out. Even if you paid a percentage, you'd have to pay him 100, 200 grand a year. It's like, what's the point? He has his own office. I'm paying him the same shit. He don't have to come here. We work remotely from wherever we want. And he's happy and he's a killer. He's making money and everything's working out great. So I think it was like a new way to develop and get to the level that I'm at. But some of these guys are just like, oh, you're an idiot for doing that. I'd have a room set up and have them clocking in every day. And I'm just like, that old militant way of thinking is not helping you come into the new school of the way things are being done.
The number one financial ruin for businesses, especially early on startups, is overhead. Yeah. And anytime you put overhead in front of revenue or as an expense, it becomes the expense and the profitability is gone. If your profitability is not high enough to hold the foundation of overhead, there's no need for it. There's no reason why. Like, I could dispatch all of my trucks. I don't. No, because at the end of the day, if I'm dispatching trucks, what am I left to do? How did you get your pre-pass in your truck? Somebody had to do it. How did you get the ELD ordered? Somebody had to do it. And I have to talk to these businesses during business hours. I can't talk to them at 12 o'clock at night. They're not available. But if I got done dispatching all the trucks and keeping up with all the brokers and answering all their emails every day and going back and forth with all the things they needed, by the time I got through all of that, there would be no time to get the other things accomplished in a timely manner. Well, how did you get my stuff here? Well, dude, I made one phone call, had things overnighted. I did things, that cost me more money up front, but it made it more convenient for my driver. It got things done for my driver. My driver got a brand new truck. He got tagged, insured, plated, all this stickered up, everything done in 4 days. Why is that? Because we're making phone calls to push people. And when I'm emailing, I'm following up, constant following up. But I pay dispatchers well. When I had dispatchers that didn't do well, you're fired. When I'm not hitting the numbers I want to hit, I'm setting the numbers. And the problem is there's some dispatchers that think we're doing the things the best they can be done. And it's no different than the guy that told me at the old hotshot company, 3,500 is the market average. You're wrong. Goodbye. Like, I'm not going to worry about it. You know,
Right.
so do I think you could save money by dispatching them all yourself? Sure. But then you have to look at it from the standpoint of, well, then what do you do besides dispatch? You just became dispatch. I have somebody that does my CPA. Do I become the accountant?
Right.
Do
You
I
can't,
go and take?
you just can't. And I had a lot of people, and it was, dude, I was scared to death to get my first dispatch company. I was sitting
Yeah.
here, fuck, man, this guy has a trucking company on the side too, and I'm like, man, because I opened up a dispatch company. I hated it. I got all the crybabies. I got all the people that didn't want to take this. I don't want to go here. I only want to run in the South. I don't want all the bullshit. And I'm like, man, this is not for me, dude. There's no way this is for me. So I wanted to scale, and there's risk in scale. There's fear in scale. You got to go right to the fear. What you're scared of most, you got to go at it. And I told my wife, she said, what are you going to do? And he says, hey, I'll give you guys all a better rate. Come sign on with my company. I said, that very well could freaking happen. But I said, I think I have some guys that are loyal and won't do that, but it doesn't mean that he can't make them a better offer. I'll give you $2,500 sign-on bonus. I won't charge you shit for dispatching for 30 days. Okay, see you later, Aaron.
Well, I
So,
mean, it's and I tell people all the time, man, like be leery of the entire thing. If someone's offering you a bunch of crap, there's a reason why they have all those offers up front. There's a
right.
reason why someone's trying to give you this sign-on bonus, trying to give you the free 30 days discount, trying to give you this one-time only monthly rate of this for 6 months. There's a reason. That's it, dude. I mean, they got it. Like, how do you catch a sucker? Throw out a bigger hook.
Right.
Like, if I'm going to get you, I'm going to get you with all these incentives. And then these drivers fall for it time and time and time and time again. I've had buddies tell me that my name shouldn't be covered 6. It should be coveted 6 because we don't hire everybody. And you had all these applicants and you didn't bring them all in. And you didn't, dude, why? Why would I? I'm not going to hire just any old Tom, Dick, and Harry that's working. Can I hire when I hire? Sure. Am I going to hire the right guy? Yes. But the guys that are working for me, I tell everybody, like, if what I'm doing is not working, go ask the people working for me what their happiness level is, not what money they make. Don't ask them what money they make. Ask them how happy they are. Ask them how well they get, how well does Covered 6 take care of their people, and ask them that. And if they tell you it's garbage, I hate it here, they would have already been gone because there's too many competitions, competitors out there that are taking it. And to be honest, if you're that driver that every time you see a new blade of grass, you're jumping a fence,
I don't want you anyway. You know what I mean?
I didn't need to have you.
I've hired 3 or 4 guys and learned my lesson that way. And I looked at their record, and my wife was like, I don't know if we should hire this guy. I think he's going to quit in a month. And I was like, yeah, we'll give him a chance. She's like, no, he's been with like 4 companies in a year. And I was like, let's give him a shot. Every effing time, motherfucker quit in 30 days, man. And my wife was right. So I don't do it anymore. It's like, if you're coming here, why are you leaving the other company? I always ask them, why are you leaving the other guy? What do you not like about that guy? If they say, oh, this, and this, and it's everything we're doing here, I'm like, we do the same shit. So it's trucking. It's trucking you don't like. It's not them. You just don't like trucking.
You mean work? You mean work? You don't like work. Okay.
You don't like work. You're lazy as hell. Is what you mean. You think so that's what it is, man. But when I came on, man, and with the dispatch thing, and we've scaled, I mean, blew up the business in the last year or two. And I mean, we're continuing to blow it up even bigger. And I told my wife, well, before I renewed my insurance about a month ago is when I was telling you I met the guy with the 120 trucks, whatever, 10 trucks, whatever he's got. And I said, hey, man, I was talking to him, this is what I want to do. So I set a goal of 100 trucks within 2 years. And then I talked to this guy, and then I see our growth rate, and I'm like, damn, babe, maybe we should go for like 250. Or I was talking to my wife, I said, it seems like 100, we're going to hit it like that. And it's going to happen just overnight. We're going to be like, oh, shit, we got 100 trucks. And I really feel like that's going to happen within the next year and a half, no problem. And it's scary, man, when you're going along that ride and you're like, man, did I set the target not big enough? Should I go for 1,000? My wife's, we've been talking, and it's like, is that really what we want? I always was going to use this as a stepping stone to get into real estate more in depth. I'm in it some, but I wanted to just do that, get some residual income, and just shit can the trucking thing. Because one of my biggest fears, and I've been looking into it a lot lately, and even the guy that has, 100 trucks, he's had a couple fatalities, is a fatality. How do you work through it? You know, if you get that size, it's gonna happen. You got JB Hunt, Schneider, Swift, all these guys, some of them have 30, 40 fatalities. If you go look at their record, you go look at their snapshot, it says right there how many trucks they have, their revenue, their miles, and their fatalities, their accidents and their crashes. And you know, if you get that big, it's gonna happen, man. So how do you work through it as a company? And that's what I tell guys. You really want to get your own authority? What are you gonna do when that happens? When somebody runs over a kid on a bike, when somebody hits a motorcyclist and kills him. You know, there was just a deal up in like Maine or Rhode Island up there. Some guy ran over some motorcycles and killed a couple of people or a guy or something. And they put the owner of the company in prison because he knowingly knew about the guy unplugging his ELD and shit and running illegal. So this ain't no game out here. When I tell and I say that, and they're like, "Oh, it's murder porn." You know what I mean? You're telling them all the bad stuff. That shit ain't real. Yeah, it is. Happens every day, guys. Every day there's somebody going upstate or going a long way away from their family because they took this shit too lightly and they knowingly knew the guy was on Instagram drinking and smoking weed and they were cool with it. Oh, put the blood down, blah blah, pass it around or whatever. No, it ain't, man. You can't do that stuff. You know. So,
well, and it's one of those things, man. It's like, you know, when people talk about this trucking stuff, when they're talking about, it's like when they throw like really just kind of like haphazard kind of way of thinking, it's like, dude, how seriously do you value your life?
Right.
How seriously do you value your time? How seriously do you value your freedom? Because honestly, if you think that, like when I have guys that tell me, "Oh man, you guys do a hair follicle," "Oh, I'm cool, man." Like, good. Like, it's not, we didn't put hair follicle in because we thought it was going to be a more restrictive process. We put it in and said, look, I don't want to go represent my company with less standards than I need to have. Like, I want to go there. When I represent the company, I say, listen, we do what we can to the level in which we can. We're going to, as far of an extent as humanly possible within our control, without completely being in somebody's life, to do the best we can as an employer. But we're not going to go to the point where, you know, I'm going to sit there and say, well, this guy can't do. I had a guy one time say, well, you know, can we guys maybe adjust the insurance so like I can get on? Why?
Yeah, I put my insurance out of my ass to
Like let me go ahead and change my entire philosophy because you can't seem to put down the blunt or the joint or whatever your problem is. Like, right. I don't care. And then honestly, if you let one thing control your life to that degree where it prevents you from making more money with somebody else, you're setting the tone for yourself as a person, how much money you're willing to make. Bro, I mean, if you told me right now that I could be a 2,000 truck operation if I jumped over that fence over there, swam across a lake, and did 6 backflips, watch me start jumping. Like it doesn't matter.
So true though, because I have people all the time and they're just like, I'm like, man, if you know, they're crying about how messed up their life is, how broke they are, how financially, you know, this, that, whatever, baby mama driving. I'm like, get a CDL. You start making money tomorrow. Get your shit together. You know what I mean? You don't need a house. You can live in a truck. You know, go drive for somebody, get some experience. Maybe I'll hire you if you get your shit together, whatever. And they're just like, oh, how long you got to be on the road? As long as it takes. It's about getting money. It ain't about being, you know. And they're like, oh, I could never do that. I could never do that. I just couldn't do it. Or I couldn't give up my medical card and stop smoking weed to get a CDL. Or I couldn't be away from my family that long. Or I could. And I'm always telling them, man, I say this as a joke. Your list of I can'ts is this effing big. Your list of cans is almost nothing. You know what I mean? The difference between me and you, we're not the same. We're not relatable. My list of cans is nothing because I'll do whatever it takes. My company, like you just said, if you said 2,000 trucks was on the other side of the thing, I'm doing backstrokes through a lake of alligators. I don't give a fuck.
That's it.
You know
That's it.
I mean? Like,
that's it.
You know, let's see if we can turn this tree into a rowboat, and so we don't get chomped up. And I'm going, man. Get the other end of the log. You know.
Dude, and I mean, I don't care. I mean, to me, and this goes back to like your definition of growth, right? Like, if is this enough? Is that enough? The answer to that question is quite literally, are you okay with the growth that you've got today? And is it to the standard? Like, and this is the way you got to think about it. Am I growing? Is 100 trucks enough? Think back a year or two ago. Would you have envisioned being where you are at this rate today? If no was the answer, like, man, I wouldn't have thought we'd have got to this point we are today, then you're growing fine. if you get to a point where 2 years ago you would have been like, damn, we should have been at 50. I would have expected us to be here. Okay, well then you need to do a little bit more. But at the end of the day, man, are you growing? Yes, then you're growing.
It's funny that you say that, because when I first started in this business, my dad put it together with a Sprinter van. I had a construction company and a tree service, and I was doing really well. They were both successful. We were killing it, man. I had, almost 20 crews, man. I mean, we're doing great. And I got into this roofing a buddy's house that was in hot shot. He's like, man, it was wintertime. It slows down in wintertime where we were at. And he's been doing hot shot like 15 years. And I said, how much you making doing this, man? This pickup truck. I got these dualies we're pulling roofing dump trailers with. I maybe could do this, or have a couple of my guys while they're slow. I wouldn't have to lay them off. I could have them do this hot shot thing, thinking it was part-time, half-assed. Blah, blah. Man, I'm on the same run. I got dedicated hauling ACs, man. I do Texas, Oklahoma, and Arkansas. I bring home about $3,000, $4,000 of profit a week after everything. I have an air ride trailer, and I've been doing it 15 years. I'm home every Friday night. I leave out on Sunday night, and I've been doing it for years. I'm, no kids. I'm wife, but we got a house in Gulf Shores, Alabama. I got a house here. I've been, new truck every 2 years, whatever. He was doing it right. Guy just been doing it 15 years, only hot shot. And I said, damn, I'm gonna give this a shot. So I started with the roofing trailer, or the roofing truck. Pulling off with the trailer and this and that. My dad started the company with a Sprinter van, just like, oh, we could do it with this thing, because we had one that was we had gutter machines in it, seamless gutter machines. Took it out, went, did a couple loads. I figured that shit was for the dog. Let's get something that really, so get a big trailer. Just kept on, got to where I'm at today. But I sat on the back porch thinking, doing the math, because I'm analytical. I got to do the numbers to everything. I'm bam, bam, bam. And, if I did this, I did this. And it was funny because it was like, oh, if I just had 20 trucks, I'd make this much money. If I just had, it seems easy. And then about 2 years into it, I just threw all that shit out the window. I was like, we'll grow at the freaking rate we grow. You know what I mean? Like, because it's not easy.
Well, and prime example. And this just goes to show you, right? And, my father has been in this business trucking for a long time. And I have no working relationship on that end. And over the course of the years, we've talked, and he's always gone his way, and I've always gone my direction.
Right.
And, the attitude of like the willingness to listen to people, because I didn't have anybody guiding me, right? Because I didn't have any set pattern to follow. I've always been accustomed my entire life to looking at everybody around me, even when it came as a little boy, trying to figure out like how to be a man. Like there was no man setting the tone for me to learn to be that man or that way of that man, So I would look at like 6 or 7 different men and pick and choose what I like from each one and take that in and use it. And it was the same thing when it came to business. I didn't know anything about business. I still probably really don't have a clue at the level some people would think you're supposed to, right? If you're me and you're thinking you should run a business, I'm in my head, I'm like, okay, I need to be at the level like Fortune 500 understanding, but I'm not. And so every day I study to try to be at that level. But it's like, even then though, like I pick and chose different things. I saw different things I like from every little company. And I said, okay, I like this. I like that. I didn't like this. I don't like that. And I just housed it into one package. And then when we look at the success rate, right, he told me never grow a business, never grow the trucking stuff. Just do you. Risking somebody else on your authority is terrible. Don't do anything about it. That was his opinion. That's from my family, right? Telling me that. That dude's out of business now.
Yeah. This guy that actually got to it, when I was roofing his house and was talking about it, he was like, I was like, well, how come you don't have other drivers? And this thing, I would never do that. I just want to do me. I want to be home every Friday night, drink my beer, do this. I don't have any interest in having drivers. I don't want to do none of that stuff. I don't care. It's too risky putting somebody on my authority. And I'm the complete opposite. I took all the risk. I put a lot of people on our authority. And man, I've been through it. I've been through claims. I've been through accidents. I've been through, I had a guy flip a trailer getting on the interstate. I had, I've had so many things happen. And I'm just like, every time I'm thinking, fuck, is this the thing that takes me out? You know what I mean? Holy shit, am I going to have to go back to driving tomorrow? And, it's just like I was telling you about the doing whatever it takes thing, man. I have a couple of buddies that are constantly asking me, but they're not willing to do what it takes. And I tell them, hey, man, we're not the same, because I can't relate, because I went and stayed away from my family for 5-6 weeks at a time, and never seen them. And then come home, and my son at the time, 6 months old, year old, looked at me, who's this freaking guy when I get home, almost making me cry. to the point that I did it for so long that I couldn't hardly do it anymore. I didn't want to be away from my kids. And you're right, but I did what it took to set me up in the position. I didn't just say, oh, fuck it, I'm going to quit and stay home, and work at Walmart. I said, I'm going to set myself up so that I can be at home or closer to home and do the things that I want to do. But you didn't hear me bitching about I can't. I hate that word. When I start talking to me like I can't or I wouldn't or I would never, the conversation's over for me at that point almost entirely.
Even when my first hotshot truck, I still have my hotshot truck. Like, it's never changed. I never bought a new one. And that hotshot truck, I literally took it home from Oregon because I could not risk putting somebody's load on my trailer and something go wrong. I didn't want to make that reputation. I knew that wasn't going to be my deal. And so when I went home, I basically sold the trailer I had at the time, liquidated it to free up capital, and I went to work in the oil field because I had a friend that was doing it. I drove that hotshot truck to the oil field every day to go to work, and I would put it in the shop. Well, I had it in the shop when I initially came home between the hotshot thing and going to the oil field. There was 28 days. In that 28 days, it sat in the shop, and nobody told me any information I didn't already know. They just charged me to tell me the information now. So I'm like, okay, get it out of the truck, get it out of the shop because you guys suck at your job. You don't know what you're doing. I'm done with you. So I said the hell with Ram entirely because they were garbage. They didn't have any clue what they were doing. And then I took that truck I had a scan tool in my truck every day hooked up to my truck. It never went anywhere. It literally stayed plugged into the OBD2 port. I wrapped it around my turn signal so I could see it every day. When I'd start the truck, I'd clear my codes so the truck would run haphazardly and get down the road. And I would drive to the oil field, do my work. And then I would do work, get the work done. I went out to the oil field, stayed out there 45 days straight because I knew I needed to work. I stayed out there 45 days straight, came home, took a little bit of money I had in my savings to make the corrections to the truck I needed to make mechanically to get it right. And then as soon as it got done, I'm on the phone. Where can I go to work? How can I get to work? Who do I know? Who's got something going on? And I just happened to be shooting the breeze with TP one day, and he's like, dude, I got this trailer. And I'm like, bro, I got this truck. Like, ding, ding, let's go work. And it's like, you can't sit around at your house at 9:30 at night and say, I'm not doing this, and it's not working, and I don't feel like it. When you don't feel like doing something, bro, I have no connection to you. Because I will go out here with a broken leg and a cast.
I don't feel like doing it. It's like going to the gym, man. You don't feel like going to the gym. Nobody ever does. But it's like the minute you get in there and you get it done, you feel great. You feel like you can kick ass. But nobody wants to go. They want to sit around and eat cake. And hell, I do too. I like cake. Everybody does. But it's the decisions that we make to go get punched in the face instead of just sitting back and saying, nah, I don't want to get punched in the face. I don't like that. I'd rather be here with my kids where it's warm and fuzzy. Sometimes you got to go do shit that ain't warm and fuzzy. You know what I mean? You got to get down in the dirt and, I tell guys all the time, you're going to do hot shot, you better be one resilient bastard. And like, what do you mean? I'm like, because nobody will help you. Nobody, when you're on the road, if you got a semi, they'll come from miles away from Dubai to help you with golden fucking tools. When you're in a hot shot, dude, I've had to beg to borrow tools and pay them out the back door of the Loves to change axles and shit on my own trucks because nobody will help me. All the Loves won't help you. Nobody will come out. I've had trucks broke down the side of the road. I had to drive 1,000 miles to come get them because the tow trucks won't even tow them. You know what I mean? Nobody will help you change a tire. It's like ridiculous. Nobody will help you. So you got to be resilient,
That's why if you look at my hotshot rig, right? 2 spares for the truck, 2 spares for the trailer. The truck runs 17.5s. The trailer runs 17.5s. Right. There's a reason why they run that because that's the only size that Loves will actually touch. Right. It's like, I have to have impacts. I have to have my tools on the truck. Why? Because, there's no, like when I was running my buddy's truck and we had a flat tire, I made one phone call and had a truck there repairing the stuff for me inside of an hour. Right. And it's like, if I were doing it myself, I'd be on the side of the road with a jack. And the attitude of like,
if you're going to run hot shot, you gotta have that big 30-ton jack from Harbor Freight. You gotta have the impact and a set of tools and gloves and get ready to get down in there and get in the dirt, man. And because nobody's coming, Yeah.
and you're living in a pickup. Like, be realistic, dude. You're gonna sleep this far away from your ceiling. You're gonna sleep this far away from the ceiling, and when you're sleeping that far away from the ceiling and things go wrong for you, like, just expect that when it's all upside down, you're going to be stuck with it. You know, I don't think there's ever going to be a position in this industry where you're ever going to have a break. You know, it's not trucking, man. That's not how it works.
That's
It's
exactly,
just,
man.
you know, I've when I was doing the hot shot stuff, it was like you're constantly working. And that's what guys don't understand. Like, yes, you see me on the road, but when I tell you I'm on the road for a month, there is literally a month of my time and energy is spent in that truck, around that truck, on that truck, under that truck, working. And I don't get, like, there's not going to be a level of work where someone is going to outwork me. Like, I just don't let them do that.
Right.
You know,
That's
and
exactly what it is. So when people tell me that, I can't relate. You know, I have people call me even from my consulting company, and they're just like, "Oh man, can I do this local? Can I do it on the weekends? Can I do that? I don't want to be away from home. I can't do this. I can't do that." I'm like, dude, it's not for you, man. You need to find something else to do because this isn't for you. You need to, you know. And it's funny because I'll be like, you know what you should do? You should open up a trucking company. You're the guy. You don't want to get a CDL. You don't want to do it. What you might want to do is work from home and run trucks. Get on. I'll help you do it. Oh, I don't want to do that. I don't want the responsibility of running people. I don't want to be a dick. I don't want to be this. I don't want to be that. I'm like, so literally, you don't want to work. You don't want to drive. You don't want to leave the house. You don't want to have a company. You don't want to work from home, which almost everybody in the free world would love to do. You don't want to really do anything. What do you want to do? This call is a waste of time. I thank you for paying me, but it was a waste of fucking time because you don't want to work. That's what it is. You want to sit at home and not work. And they're just like, no, that's not it. I'm going to get a truck and I'm going to drive. I'm just going to find a way to do it locally. And I'm like, okay, well, best of luck. You need to call the 5 best top companies in your area that do local work because there's a few of them. It's rare, but I said, and see if they're taking on owner ops or see if they're hiring company drivers and try to sneak your way in and figure out what they're doing. But as for me, I don't have anything like that. I have stuff all over, the Midwest, Southeast region, which is where we run and we're successful.
bro, I just, to be honest, when I came in, like, the attitude you have to have is failure is not an option.
Right.
And then on top of it, dude, when it's 9 o'clock at night, I have ideas. Some people have dreams and they want to go sleep. I'm up and I'm talking to people on Friday at 7 o'clock at night, 8 o'clock at night on a Friday, and they're like, dude, why are you calling me? And I'm like, bro, I got this really sick idea. And they're like, dude, I'm literally out at the bar. And it's like, see, that's the problem. You're at the bar, I'm at home with the ideas, and I'm thinking about stuff. And I'm like, dude, I tell my drivers all the time, I have no hobbies. If I'm not driving, trucking, doing something, or fishing or whatever, like, it's literally not happening. I'm literally working. And when we have a situation now, we have a hot shot, right? We're doing maintenance on it right now. It's got to get some repairs done. We had to fire a driver. We had a lot of lies going on, a lot of crazy crap. Had to get rid of that. Have a truck ready to go. What does it mean? Okay, I'm looking for a driver to hire a driver. If I don't see a driver I like in the time frame I see it, right? We got job postings everywhere, Facebook, Instagram, whatever, Indeed, all that. What does it mean? It means Big Daddy's about to go get in the truck, go run it for a month, bring in the company in some money so I can sit back and ensure that we've got a nice, healthy nest egg and go to work.
Yeah,
it's not an option.
Picked up a T680 and I leased 2 of them. I had the opportunity to lease 5 to 10, and I was like, I don't know about all that. That's gonna like 1, 2 first. So I actually talked to a buddy of mine, and I got him. He wants to get in the trucking deal. I was like, how about you sponsor the truck? I'll hire a driver. I'll manage it. You do that. And then kind of talked my dad into coming into it and helping me. So we got 2 that they're going to run because I don't know, man. I'm just iffy on the company driver thing. I'm an owner-op guy. I figured out my numbers one day. I had 4 company trucks. All 4 of them broke down. 2 motors, a transmission, and a rear axle. And I'm like, fuck. I'm not making any money, and they're all my trucks. Drivers are mad. They're ready to go back to work. They're sitting at home. I'm paying them a little bit to be at the house, and I was bleeding money, hemorrhaging money. So then I met my guy, Shaggy, and he's like, why don't you have any owner-operators? And I'm just like, I don't know why I don't have any owner-operators, So we ended up figuring it out, and now almost our entire company is owner-operators. So this will be the 2. I got rid of my company trucks. I phased them out, sold them off. But now we're getting back into it only with semis. I don't think I would own hotshot trucks as company trucks. It's just not where I want to be. But with the semis, man, I'm like, man, it's been like 2-3 weeks. They're ready to go. I've got guys signing up, but I'm not putting no rookie in a semi, man. You got to have 2 years experience. You got to have some experience. And I get guys that are eager, and I almost want to do it because they have a year and a half. They're almost there. And I'm just like, man, I don't know. I want somebody that's been over the Rockies, that's been out west, that's been, that I just don't trust it, man. So I'm like, man, next week I'm going to drop my ass in the truck maybe and take off, film some content, and make money, because I'm tired of paying the bill while it's sitting there, And
well, but those T680s, man. I mean, the thing is, when I bought the T680, I didn't even realize how good of a truck it was until I was driving my buddy's truck, and my buddy's truck's that big loud Peterbilt, right? And I'm just sitting there like, oh, the whole time, and I'm just like, crap. And then I got in my truck and I started it, and it was like, is it on? Exactly. Oh, it's on. Oh, right. Man. And then when you talk about like the automated transmissions, I've never been in a truck that had automated transmission.
When I took my test, I drove a manual, and that's all I ever had opportunity to mess with. I never messed with the automatic. I didn't even know how to turn it on. I should have watched a video on YouTube or something, but I got it in. I was like, how the hell are you doing? What I mean?
I love it though. I love it.
It's cool as shit. People hate them, but I think it's cool. It's like a Cadillac.
I love the attitude of one less thing.
Right.
It's one, and then the thing is, like, when you get in the truck, it's a 76-inch sleeper. It's a nice bunk. It's nice and spacious. It's got, all its LED lighting, all this nice stuff in there. And to me, it's like, man, that truck is $10,000 a week easy. Right. $10,000 a week easy. And when you're talking about percentages, I have guys that ask me like, okay, so you're paying percentage, but is it percentage of gross? And I'm like, dude, it's percentage of exactly what the truck makes. I don't take out fuel before I pay you. I don't take about anything else before I pay you. It's exactly what the truck makes. And I'm not going to put somebody on a $10,000 a month salary as a company driver doing $2,500 to $3,500 a week and be like, well, here, let me get this guy with a year of experience, and he deserves that. Dude, no. Like, bro, I need a guy who's super reliable.
No, Rob, but I did the math both ways, because I used to do on my company trucks before, we did 25-30%. And I don't know, it kind of works out the same, because if they put down the miles and make the money, if you give them a bonus if the truck hits certain caps, I don't think it really matters how you pay. I'm ready to do either one. If I get a good enough guy, I'll do percentage, whatever. But I think the trucks are nice, man. And like you said, the thing is, we've got 5 semis now and these two new ones. So that'll put us at 7. And I mean, I can go anywhere and get dedicated. Almost anywhere. I've got 3 or 4 different opportunities that one of my guys already has set up a dedicated thing, and it's back and forth. Pick up here, drop here, pick up here, drop there. It's same plants and everything. It's unbelievable. And it's all flat, like $2.46 a mile or something. So it's, you're not making crazy rate, but it's
consistent.
In the South, it's bing, 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 bing. And it's like, man, I don't need a dispatcher. I don't really need anything for that. I'm like, hey, just send over because they send it over for a week. Here it is. You give it to the driver. Bing, 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 bing. That's it. It's simple. So with semis, you have the opportunity to do that. I'm not going to say it's not possible with hot shots, because I know some guys that are doing stuff like that, but it's just a lot harder to get into that market.
It's a lot more inconsistent, man. It's the hot shot stuff's a lot more inconsistent. What I will say is, because we have owner operators, and right now it's owner operators and me. And to be honest, my owner operators are not. I won't get rid of my owner operators because the guys are, number one, experienced. 2, they're professional. They do the work they're supposed to do the right way. And then number 3, they care about their equipment as much as I care about mine. And if I hire somebody that's going to run the semi and run as a company guy, when I'm looking for experience, like, guys will be like, yeah, I ran here, ran there. And it's like, but do you take care of the equipment on the level that I take care of the equipment? Do you take care of your equipment the way I want? Do you, and the thing is, man, it's like, I had a couple guys that interviewed, and I called them and we talked, and it's like, I told him, I'm looking for long term. If I get a guy and hire a guy, I don't want to see you gone in 10 years. I want you here for 20 years, 30 years. I want to know everything that you know. I want to constantly upgrade their trucks. I want to constantly move them forward and rotate them forward. But at the same time, like, when I looked at owner operators, right, the insurance I'm with now, we're capped. We're capped at a certain rate of growth. And until we get enough time, I think, under our belt where fleet insurance companies will start giving us a knock and start talking with us a little bit, we'll probably be capped a little bit. But at the same time,
with growth, man, that's what I was getting ready to tell you earlier, and I just completely got sidetracked. But it was almost, because you always hear like the slow growth, blah, 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 by the insurance companies. So when I got in and I was like, I don't want slow growth. I want to blow it up, and I do this. And I was trying to push it that way. It just wasn't happening. It's like the universe just wanted it to happen at the rate that it happened at. And now we're at the, I think you just, like, I've even done videos on it. You go through cycles where you're profitable at a certain amount of trucks. You're not profitable. You're growing. You're not growing. You're stagnant, whatever. But we're at the cycle now where we have, almost 30 trucks. And we have ammunition now. You got a little bit of money, you've got space, you got time, you got decisions. And when you're talking factoring, when you're talking 1%, a point of a percent, when you're talking insurance, they kiss your ass a little bit. It's not the same as when you start out and you're begging them for work or whatever, for whatever you need. Now the brokers talk to us different. They're like, they're not so quick to tell us to get bent, because they're like, hang on, yeah, okay, never mind, hang on, because they look and see how many we got and what we're doing. And it's public record. Anybody can go look it up, So when you get to that level, this year we were going to go fleet, and my guy talked me out of it and was like, let's get to 30 and then go fleet. Because there's a lot more that goes into it that I wasn't even aware of. All the recording, all of the audits that come in with the fleet policies. They can literally come in and open up all your stuff and look at your revenue. If you bid so many miles and you hit more miles than that, well, you owe a shit ton more money. You better have saved up that money, because they're going to take it, and it's either you're going to pay it or you're done, So, and then you've got 30 guys or 40 guys sitting around and you can't get insurance. You got 30 days. Who's going to pick up 30 trucks? There's not many companies that will take on that work, So it is scary, man, but it can be done. And like we're situated with Progressive now, and they allow you, with some companies, to go to 10, some insurance agents can go to 20. It's all about how they're set up, So we got with the right company and we were able to go to 20, and Progressive allows you to hire from anywhere. Hire guys that maybe have a ticket or a seatbelt ticket or whatever, where a lot of companies won't. They want you to only hire from your state, or only hire guys that don't have any tickets or whatever, So.
Well, and we looked at it from the standpoint, if we're going to hire, and we're going to grow, to be honest, I have a set goal in mind, and my idea, the company, the way I want to be is in 6 years, I want to see $20 million company.
Right.
And I think that's obtainable. I think it's doable. I think it's zealous.
Oh, 100%. After talking to this guy with 100+ trucks, I know it's attainable. That's why I came back to my wife and was like, was 100 not enough? I always feel like maybe I didn't, with the whole Grant Cardone state of mind, 10x everything, you should have asked for 10 times what you said. So if you missed your target, you at least got better than what you would have said if it was 100 trucks, right? So yeah, it's.
But I mean, it's I just think that's my goal, and that's where I'm shooting for, and the idea is like the YouTube stuff is great, man. Like I love the YouTube stuff. I love doing the videos, because the thing is, you meet people, bro. Like you and I wouldn't talk if we didn't do YouTube, right? And what was the first thing I did? I looked you up. I saw the videos you were posting. I'm like, dude, I like this guy's stuff. He's posting real shit. He's talking, he's talking straight to these guys, and he's not coming from a place of ignorance. He's coming from a place where he's running trucks.
I hate the shit when they're like, oh, this, that, and that. And I look at them, I'm like, you don't even own a freaking trucking company, dude. What? You've never had 10 trucks. How are you going to tell me how to run 10 trucks? You never had 10 trucks. What the, that stuff aggravates me. So when I see you guys, or I see, and even Toe Piglet, man, he's got a lot of good content out there, and he helps a lot of people. I'm not a fan of everything. He knows that. I know him. I've talked to him. I've got his cell number. He's a cool guy, but it's like everybody out there has their different spiel, their different sell. But honestly, man, like you said, you love the YouTube for the connection. I do too, but I really like helping people, man. I've seen so many people fail. I've seen it, man, 100 times. They get a truck, they let it get repoed, they lose their authority, they go bankrupt, all because they just didn't know. They didn't know what you don't know. You know what I mean? And I honestly, dude, I hate it, because it almost happened to me, man. And it's happened to friends of mine. And, a good friend of mine actually started a trucking company. He's seen what I was doing. He had a little bit of money. He was in real estate, playing around. He was always messing with me. We had car dealerships together. And I had one and he had one, and we would always just, have lunch and stuff and bullshit around. He was like, I'm going to start me a damn trucking company. So he did. He got up to 5 trucks, but he was doing cars. And I said, man, I don't know about the car thing. I don't think it's the play. I don't think that's the play. And he was like, oh, no, he don't have a CDL, don't drive. He's just like hiring whoever drivers. I'll go get your CDL and I'll hire you with hot shots, 3-car wedges and stuff. And he went out of it. He ended up, he didn't go bankrupt because he already had money and he had other things going on. But he got out of it. It's like a year and a half, 2 years, he was done because too many claims, too many problems, too many issues. Can't keep drivers. A guy wrecked a truck and flipped it. Insurance, it's done, pulled the trigger. So, or whatever, So it's those things, man, that I hate seeing that, and I'd like to see people do it right. I think there's plenty of money, plenty of freight, and there's just not enough guys. When I got on there was not enough guys on YouTube preaching it the right way. They were preaching.
Dude, I mean, there's not, bro. I've got haters. I got haters every day, dude, and I love them people because it's like
push you further.
Dude, I mean, honestly, it's like when I look at people's content, I can figure out real quick if it's a bunch of weeded bullshit or if it's straight. And if it's straight, I talk about them, right? Like when I recommend people, like when I'm recommending people watch people, I'm like, look, man, watch these guys, watch this guy, because if I like something I see, it's like, man, when I watched your stuff, I was like, dude, he only has like what's his sub count right now? Like, why is he so low, bro? Because his stuff is solid. Like your stuff you're putting out to these dudes, it's solid. And if they would follow, like the people have got to get in the mindset and understand you're not reinventing the wheel. Okay. You didn't create it. Okay. You're not creating a new steering wheel. It's not new. And you're not going to break it and redesign it. So just learn how it rotates, how it works, and then go get you one, put it on the wagon and watch it roll, and then let it be. And don't, if somebody's already rolling down the road doing it, they're doing it the right way and they're making money with it. If somebody's looking at your channel and they see like, dude, this guy's running 20 trucks, 30 trucks. Hello, he did something right. If he didn't do it right, he would not be at that level. So
I haven't got to the haters yet, and I'm dying. Honestly, man, it's been nothing.
Oh, they're coming. They're coming.
It's been positive, man. I don't have the 10,000 subs yet, but I know they're coming, and I can't wait because I know that's like gratification you made it is the haters. Because if you don't have haters, and right now, man, it's just been I love your channel. I learned so much from you. I'm joining your consulting program. I love what you guys are doing. And I have people that literally they started truck companies and they learn from me and they're doing a good job doing it right, and they still call me for advice, And I truly do. I think, if you follow a lot of, like you were talking about the not necessarily the Zuckerberg, he's not a good example, but a lot of the millionaires and billionaires, I think there's a lot of pieces that come into making a whole lifestyle, being healthy, being financially independent, helping people, turning around and giving that hand up when you can. There was nobody on YouTube preaching this stuff or explaining it to me whenever I got into it. And I met this one guy, Shaggy, man, and it changed my life because he was like, man, I was like, man, I'm about to go bankrupt, dude. I don't know what the hell I'm doing wrong. I'm working hard. I'm driving double shifts, doing some things I'm not supposed to be doing, not sleeping, going from coast to coast, whatever, and getting 2 hours of sleep a night. And I don't understand. I'm making a shit ton of money. And it's like, you know what I mean? Like putting it on fire. And he's like, oh, well, let's look at the numbers. And my dad came in too and was like, he's really analytical. And he's just like, let's look at the numbers. If the numbers say this is the story of what's going on, And he's like, well, you're making a lot of money, but it all goes out to your drivers or to breakdowns or to truck maintenance or to truck payments because I over leveraged some of these trucks. I didn't do it the right way. And, I was young. You go to get one bank loan, they ain't going to give you 4 of them. You know what I mean? They just don't. So I was doing everything I could, putting big money down and trying to make things happen, buy trailers left and right. And it wasn't working, So the minute I switched over to the owner operator model, everybody's happy, everybody works, they're able to stay rolling. I solve a problem, and it's been good for us, And it saved our.
I think honestly, man, I think that if people are watching this on your channel, and it's 100% on your channel, like it's you approached the conversation, I approached you initially, and I went and looked your phone number up, and I was like, I'm going to call the guy. I'm going to tell him what I think. I'm going to tell him I like his shit, and I'm going to tell him to keep pushing because I dig it. And I'm like, and I'm nobody. I'm nobody on YouTube at all. I'm just the one guy that if you watch my shit long enough, and you got to watch through a lot. I mean, my videos go long-winded, but it's like, if you watch through it, it's like, at the end of the day, dude,
have a great channel. You know what you're talking about, and you're giving it your all, man, and you're constantly learning, innovating, which is what I respect, and I respect the character. That's why I wanted to do this video. You know what I mean? So, and I'm going to break it into a couple portions because it's dragging out, but it's definitely going to be something that I think people are going to get some benefit. I hope they do anyway, get some benefit out of it, you know?
Well, I mean, by far, if people are watching your videos and they're not subscribing to you and they're not liking this shit, it's a matter of time.
Yeah.
Because when you look at the value that channels put out, your channel puts it out, my channel puts it out, Ricky's channel puts it out, the other guys are putting it out. There's literally thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars worth of mistakes averted by listening to these guys that are telling you the shit that's real. Because if you fuck up and you don't listen and you don't if you do not take what they're telling you to heart, you're going to find thousands of dollars worth of problems. Like you can avoid so much by paying attention to what these dudes say.
I'm still learning, and I still make mistakes. I'm not perfect on a bigger level, and my mistakes hurt sometimes because they're not little tiny, you know, they're $10,000 mistakes maybe or whatever. But I tell these guys all the time, man, you just don't know what you don't know. I can forget shit, and you call me and be like, hey, I'm in this situation, and I know what to do already because I've been there. You know what I mean? So if you hear that funny saying, like, I've forgotten more than you'll ever fucking know about, it's like, man, for being as young as I am, getting into that mindset that I've been over the Rockies, and I've been in every state up. I didn't go up past New York, which I wish I would have done, up to Maine and all that, but I've been to every other state. I've been all over almost every back road, every freaking shipper. I can probably tell you, man, I delivered there and they're assholes. You know, don't go there. There's a lot you know, and I think that people should definitely, and you the same way, man. You sit there and preach it out as you're out there doing it and doing what you're saying. I think you're going to grow a great company. But that's like I was telling, these guys like Toe Pickling and stuff. I think you guys are missing the boat trying to focus on this YouTube money when you could grow a real $20-30 million business. It's a totally different ballgame, man.
Bro, and it's just the design of what they're trying to do, right? Is their goal to grow that business, or is their goal to grow whatever? And it's like, at the end of the day, YouTube to me is cool. It's fun. It will never put bread on my table. It will never take bread off my table. Right. It's not something that I live and eat and breathe by. I love the guys that watch my stuff, and I happily help them. But at the end of the day, if my driver called me right now with an emergency, gotta go. Like, gotta work, baby. Got stuff to do.
And you know what's funny, though? And I don't know if you've done this, but I did this because I actually have guys from YouTube have signed on and become owner-operators with me. But I did because, we all know TP, man. He's one of the biggest out there, got the biggest following. He's one of the biggest, right? So I did the math and conversion rate on what my conversion rate is to followers, right, of guys that come to work for me, okay? And I broke down the math of what it would be for Toe Piglet. It's literally 0.1% of 1% converted to have 100 trucks. He has like 100 and some thousand followers. I'm like, you don't even need a whole percent to convert. And my percentage is like 0.03. We wouldn't even need the whole 3, right, to have a 100 truck company. So I'm sitting here thinking, man, and it can be done. I mean, anything, if you got enough willpower, insurance, I know a lot of guys are like, oh, my insurance this, my insurance that. That's true. But you can find the right company that'll let you grow. And there's fleet policies out there. A lot of guys just don't know. But I think that YouTube is a big proponent to having a big company. If you want to do it, you got to get out there and talk like these guys, be like these guys, lead by example, and show them what's available, teach them, and, let them spread their wings too. If they come on and run for you and they want to open their own company, I'm like, hey, let's do it, dude. I'll help you do it. I'll help you set up your LLC. I'll help you get your authority. I'll push you out, dude. If it doesn't work, you can still come back here and ride with me again. I don't have any problem with that. I've helped people do it,
I just feel like, it's one of those deals that I don't turn people away. I just look at it from the standpoint of saying, like, look, man, I have a design for this business at a level it needs to be at. I know what I want to see it happen, and if it gets there with you involved, sweet. And if it doesn't, oh well. But it doesn't. It's never going to be. I don't look at anybody as competition. I don't look at anybody. There's too much freight out here. But it's like, I look at it as a partner. I look at it for the business side of things. And to be honest, I think everybody I've got working for me today, other than maybe 1 or 2, came from YouTube. Yeah. And it was like, and the thing is, with my YouTube stuff, like I told people straight out, man, hauling cash is not covered 6. Hauling cash is literally hauling cash. That That is my advertisement guru. That is my marketing sector head. That is that dude. But that is not, and that's a channel, but that has nothing to do with our business. And if you look at the guys that work for me today and they meet me in person, no difference, zero. What I say here, I will say there. And when you do that, when they see that that's business, they're like, oh man, I saw you guys were making money. Oh, no, we make money. But best believe that we also hold people accountable and they hold us accountable. And I mean, I don't know, man. YouTube's a great place for learning, bro. And in 2022, it's only going to get even crazier with, like, I don't even think about 2021. Like, 2021 is like one step. And I'm already looking at 2022 because I'm like, look, we're already in second quarter.
I think sometimes, because I heard Zuckerberg say this one time. He's like, Facebook is in its Neanderthal stages. And I've thought that about almost everything. I sit here and think about, because, and one of the topics I wanted to get at, we never got at, was is it saturated, and where do you think it's going in the future with all the autonomous bullshit? But I think that, man, like YouTube, all of these things, Tesla, those guys, they're going to be doing shit on the moon. They got monkeys playing video games. It's so freaking crazy where we're going. We don't even know where we're going. In 5 years, we're liable. I mean, just like Facebook was invented, like, 2012 or something? That ain't even that many years that it's blowing up into this thing now where we have such a social engagement. And YouTube as well has followed, and Google what it is today in the analytics. And now if you Google something, they track every freaking thing and market to you. And if you say something around your phone, the damn thing starts throwing ads at you on Instagram and Facebook. There's so much.
Well, we got so set back in our industry last year. We got set back 5.5 years. Yeah. 5.5 years with the hiring rate. Right now, we're in a prime position to grow. And if you're growing enough, like, I'm not surprised somebody doesn't come knocking on your door and says, hey, you know what? Let's cut you a check for this. And, you guys just cut on loose, and we'll just, we'll buy up what we buy up, and we'll take ownership of what you got going on. Because at the end of the day, man, right now, the industry is losing people every day. It's losing it every day. It's not saturated to the extent now. Hotshot's getting a little bit saturated just from the standpoint of so many people getting in because of COVID. But because of turnover, we'll lose it all. So it's not like they're going to stay.
I think, yes, COVID thing, but if you go by every scale house in the country, you can see 10 or 15 going out that day. They got busted or whatever, man. So I think that thing it's like a law of averages. The universe just has that wheel on. And in general, there's guys going in and coming out. If you look at, and it's public record, you can go look at the amount of authorities that are applied for and the amount that go out every day, and it's like, man, it's crazy, But like, where is it going in the future? One of my, and we'll see what you think on it, but one of my things is I think that Hotshot's going to take over more of the market because Diamond C and PJ and some of these guys have finally stepped up and made these 53-foot step decks with 15K axles and seen that there was a niche to be filled there. And I think that they're just getting started, and some of the other companies are going to catch on, and the trucks will start going to cabin chassis trucks and pulling those, and they won't be hot shots anymore. They'll be light duty LTL trucks. They won't.
I think it'll even get more refined than that. I think that Sprinter van and that box van market, I think those will become more readily available as we go to e-commerce. Like, we're so involved in e-commerce right now, it's insane. But as e-commerce progresses and the click to demand ratio goes up, right now e-commerce is going through the moon, and trucking is losing people out the nose. So as we're losing people out the nose and they're buying stuff through the moon, it's like, look, man, something's going to give. We're going to have to change things on our end. And I think, is there always going to be a need for big trucks? Yes. Do I think that the semis ultimately have more reliability for the longevity of doing this work over the road? Yes. But I think with the hot shot, the LTL, and all those things, the only thing I think that may change with a hot shot is going to get down to the regulatory part of it. Do you have a CDL? Do you have the licensing for this? I think that, it's interesting.
Step in eventually, and there's not going to be that 10,000 pound and the 26,000 CDL. They're going to say everybody's going to have a CDL, and there's no non-CDL anymore. We're tired of busting you guys. Maybe not. It might, because it's a gray area. There's a lot of government regulation. You go downtown in any city, and there's just stuff that's so old, like fax machines. I was dealing with something this week, and I was like, who the F still has a fax machine, man? I was pissed because they were like, can you fax it in? I'm like, I don't have a fax machine, man. Like, it's ridiculous. It's 2021. Email the shit over or whatever. So,
well, you gotta look at the. See, I talked to a guy at a big brokerage, and he had listed a load for 16K or 14K, and I was like 14K on the weight, and I'm like, okay, but we went to go pick it up, and it only weighed 9K, and I said, man, you guys were off by 5,000 pounds. He goes, no, we just list it for 5,000 pounds more because we don't take non-CDLs. And I said, you know about non-CDL? And he goes, dude, we literally list it for more weight, so we ensure that we get a CDL driver. Yeah. And I'm like, they're starting to catch on to the wave because they're realizing that there's non-CDL guys out here, and they're not putting the same skin in the game that the CDL guys are. CDL guy has a liability all the time.
Right. All the time. Busted, and that's why you see a lot of the loads now. Even a year ago, but right before I quit dispatching, was big no hot shots, because they've been burnt so many times, man, by guys showing up saying they're air ride, they're not air ride, showing up and it's a bullshit trailer, non-CDL or whatever, and they can't even haul it, and they get busted trying to put a friggin' semi on there, and the axles are broke or some crazy stuff, and So, I think they're definitely going to be more regulatory in it. But as far as like the autonomous trucks, too, I don't see us going into that for 15, 20. I don't know if that's ever going to be a thing. I just don't.
I think we're a decade out.
Yeah, I think at least. Because people ask me all the time, I don't want to jump into a career where I'm going to get booted out in a year. I'm like, if anything, I think they're going to go to autopilot like Tesla. But there's still going to be somebody in there that's got to be responsible for it. I just don't see.
But even then, man, like it's not even about the trucks, right? You can build a truck without the infrastructure. It's nothing, right? Exactly. Who cares if you build a truck if you have no port, or you build a giant ship if there's no port to house it?
Right. Exactly. And I think that that's the thing. They'll have to build more places to get these things off the interstate, right on the interstate, like pulling in and out, almost like a train. And it's like, why would they even do it? It's like, just because some things can be done don't mean that they need to be. You know what I mean? Because there's a lot, like we already have trains. You know what I mean? We already have a lot of those type of things. So why would you replace it instead of just, because that's basically what it would be, is just a train. You know what I mean? An automatic truck would be the same as a train, right? You're going to get it to where it needs to be, pick it up, drop it off. It's just the same as a truck. The only thing is truck can get into different areas where a train is not set up, right? So it's just.
And you're going to have mom and pop outfits. Right. You're going to have the mom and pop outfits that need to unload you in the street. You're going to have the people that have to load you on the side of a dock somewhere, or you're going to need, it's not going to be like, for example, I went to go load with a semi truck at one location. He was moving one location to the other. He literally had to take a strap to the DOT bumper and pull you up with a crane, your back of your trailer, and literally move you over just to make it around a curve. Are you going to be able to communicate that with an autonomous vehicle? No. And I've heard different states are like, oh, we're getting away with diesel. We're going away with diesel in 8 years. Good luck. Like, it's not going anywhere. It's not changing.
Fossil fuels and nuclear power is the cleanest energy they put out. They can sit there and talk about windmills. They can sit there and talk about all the shit. At the end of the day, it doesn't perform. It doesn't do what it's supposed to do. And it's still new tech to the point that it's crazy.
I saw a Tesla charging station being ran off the back of a generator. And then if you go on I-10 going into California, and you'll see all those windmills.
Right.
All those windmills, if you look at the back of those windmills and you see that giant oil running down the back of those windmills.
Right.
When I see all that running down the back of the windmill, I'm like, okay, man, like great theory, terrible performance. Right. But it's a way to get a subsidy. Why not? If you're going to subsidize them like you do the farmers and the oil industry, and you're going to subsidize it for wind and solar, of course they're going to get into wind and solar and promote it. Why wouldn't they? They're getting subsidies out the wazoo. It's a new oil boom.
At the end of the day, too, you got it's like with drugs, man. Big Farm has too much to say about it. And then, the cartels are too big to fail. So it's the same thing with trucking. It's like why the pipeline got killed when the new president come in. It didn't have shit to do with it not being good for the environment. They don't care. Nobody really cares. And that voice is this big. What really matters is that Warren Buffett owns a major stake in the company, and he's patting the pockets of the way things are going down. So guess what? It gets shut down because we have plans with Saudi Arabia and other companies or whatever to buy it, and I have stake in him. Want you to buy it from him. So if that does, I'm gonna lose $15 billion. So I need you to make that not happen. And it's the same thing with trucks. You think that they're going to make them all go electric or make them all go autonomous? You think that Peterbilt and these oil companies that are producing diesel and stuff like that? No, they're $1 trillion companies, and they're going to be like, no, we ain't the electric.
Well, and you've got major trucking companies that have major stakes in major truck stops. You know, so when the same owner of a large trucking company also owns a percentage of some of the truck stops that are selling fuel to you.
He just bought into Pilot or one of them, billions of dollars he invested in there, you know?
Why? I mean, they're not, you know, it's not a change that's coming anytime soon. And to be honest, here's the other thing about it, right? If they're going to automate anything, where are they going to automate? Van, reefer, stuff that's consistent.
Chicken nuggets and toilet paper, you know what I mean?
They're gonna do the consistent stuff, right? They're gonna do the stuff that goes in a 53 foot by 102 or 101 wide van. They're gonna go by something that's consistent form. They're not gonna go by stuff that needs a tarp, chain, strap, binder, winch. They're not gonna go by those things because you can't automate that. Because you're gonna still need somebody to hit them with the straps, hit them with the winches. So I just don't see it.
Those giant dump trucks and scrapers and stuff like that. Ain't no autonomous truck ever moving that, man. Come on, you know what I mean? I don't know. They got some really cool shit in the construction field, the dirt works industries. They even got some electric stuff out there that's crazy, and automated remote control stuff. But I don't see it happening around the public in the next 10 to 15 years. I just don't see it. I'm gonna get mine before then and get out, so I'll be fine with it.
Well, and that's it, man. That's it. I mean, it's if it's gonna go, let it go. But I'm gonna ride the wave, dude. I mean, all I'm doing every day, man, is waxing the bottom of the surfboard and preparing for a wave. Yeah, that's it.
Preparing, and I think that's what's happening, dude. And I think people like us are gonna capitalize on this YouTube stuff and just keep growing our business. And I hope it trickles. Man, I'm always like, man, I pray the best for you, everybody out there, man. If you want to build 1,000 trucks, go do it, man. And if I know anything, 3,000, whatever, hell, I'll be your cheerleader, dude. I'm never gonna be a hater. I
want you to call me. I want you to call me and say, yo, let's do something real big. Like, let's go to the moon.
That's the way I am, man. I don't have time to hate, dude. I don't have time to sit. You know, another thing, always leading back to Grant, but he's always like, man, when you see people pass in an accident, they're always like, you know, rubbernecking what's going on. I don't have time. I'm too focused on where I'm going to sit and look at the fatalities, the crashes that are going on the side of the road. He's like, and that's where I'm at, man. I know what we want to do. I've got a clear definition. I know how we're going to get there. And I honestly think that we've hit a springboard, and I think you guys are going to do it too, man, especially with the way you're blowing up on YouTube. I think 100 trucks is going to be like the beginning of next year.
Dude, that's why that's why I've got hater vision in my side mirrors. Because hater vision to me is everything behind me. Everything back there, I left that for a reason. And the only thing that matters is what's in front of me. Yeah. You know? So I wish y'all all the best, brother. I think, honestly, if you guys are watching at home and you guys have not subscribed to this man, if you're not liking it, if you're not commenting on his stuff, if you're not watching him steadily and learning from his content, you are by far missing out on some good information. I subscribe and I watch him. And if y'all ain't doing it and you're subscribed to me, I don't know what that is. So I'm kick ass, dude. I love it, bro. I hope we get to do this again when you're at 2 million trucks.
Yeah, I definitely appreciate it, man. You're definitely doing something right. I mean, I follow you. There's only a few guys I follow just for entertainment value, and I like the real deal stuff. So I mean, you're definitely one at the top of the list, man. And I appreciate you taking the time to do this, man. So we'll get to the point that we're wrapping it up here, man. But it's definitely been good. Hopefully we'll do some more in the future. And, man, I'm always here. So if you ever want to have me on anytime, I'm game. And hopefully some people, those of you that are watching, get some real value out of this. This is two guys that are really doing this. We really run trucks every day. We're not out here pretending to be some bullshit on YouTube. We really have trucking companies, and we really run a bunch of trucks. And when we do a good job, we're transparent, and we're both hiring. We're both growing and expanding at a great rate. So great minds think alike, and this is definitely two big dogs, in my opinion, sitting here hashing it out, man, about what it takes to be successful in this. And I just hope anybody that's watching this got some value out of it today, man. I think it was good. I'm ready to do it again, man. I'm pumped because this was good.
Any day, dude. I'm here. I'm here,
I knew
man.
it
Let's
was
do
going to
it.
be like this. I knew it was going to be solid. So I'm ready to do it, man. So anytime we'll do it.
Go.
Sure.
All right, brother. Be careful.
All
All the best, man. Get to the money.
right,
See ya.
brother. You too. Later.
Later, man.